Night 3 of week 10 of term 1 in 2024 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And we've got some sort of a fascination around Victoria this week as far as kicking things off is concerned. We had the supercars from the island on Monday night. We went to Winton last night for the up-and-comers. In fact, we didn't leave Winton last night. And now on to Sandown for the grand finale of the Toyota 86 series. Of course, the entree act on a Wednesday night into our first trip to South America in a while, up to the Interlargos circuit in Brazil for our coverage of the GT4 finale. It is Wednesday night motorsport as grand final week continues in term 1 of 2024 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Good evening, everybody. I'm Zach Caven. Daniel Correa-Sars here alongside me. Greg Heaney's back because he enjoyed himself so much last night. He's back to have a chat again tonight, and Josh Izuno as well. Welcome to the continuation of Grand Final week. Are you sick of us yet? This is the third night of 4 on the hop, ladies and gentlemen, and another 2 champions to be crowned tonight across a 3-race program. First up, 15 and 25-minute races for the Toyotas from Sandown and Inzo to the top 10 to kick things off in race 2, and then, of course, on to the Interlargos circuit for a 60-minute race, if you don't mind, in GT4. There are the circuit and track conditions for you as we welcome you to Sandown, 11 o'clock in the morning. There's a 50-50 chance of rain, so I'm reliably informed. 29 km/h winds, that's typical Melbourne at this time of year. 21 degrees the ambient, 25 on track. Clear conditions at the moment, but as I say, there is rain potentially on the way. 70% humidity. And looking around, we can tell it's a 3.13 kilometre circuit, anti-clockwise the direction. We know it, we love it. It's synonymous with some of the great moments in Australian motorsport and some of the great moments on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club as well. 2 great circuits tonight, 2 great categories as well. Daniel Correa-Sars, welcome to you. You've had a dabble in these as a competitor throughout the course of the season. You've taken one for the team tonight into the broadcast booth, doing some overtime in Grand Final week. And so far, Grand Final week has delivered in every sense of the word.
Thanks, Zach. Yeah, look, I really enjoy the GR86. I think it's a perfect race car. Some would say, as an example, some people like to refer to the Porsche Cup car as like the quintessential race car, and I think that the GR86 has its own position in motorsport. Similar, not exactly the same, but similar. It's a car that anybody can jump into. It really does showcase the driver's skill, and they're a lot of fun to boot, especially when it gets wet and lively. Those cars are very predictable to drive in the wet, and so it's one of those things where it really does showcase the driver's skill. And you tend to always get some really good racing with it as well.
Indeed you do. We've got a couple of things to quickly race through here. There's the grid firstly for this race, but if we can, mate, can we have a look at the championship points and let everybody know the equation coming into tonight? Stuart Ellis on top, 24 points over Sam Chapman. I can tell you that Ellis is only 6th on the grid here in this opening race tonight. 294 for Reece Gosner third, Kurt Chapman 281, Adam Lavis 275. Brett Barker, 253. David Baz out of contention, 225. Michael Hammond, 195. 192 for Matt Schmidtke and Phil King on 182 points, making up the top 10. Sam Chapman and John Merritt share the front row here tonight at Sandown, alongside Guy Leach on the second row with Michael Hammond. Brett Barker and Stuart Ellis from 3. Oliver Patterson and Matt Schmidtke from 4. Adam Lavis and David Christensen from 5. That's 2 teammates. Aaron Bryan, who was phenomenal last night. Gary Wellman from row 6. John Baldwin, not Joe, from 7 alongside David Lawler. Phil King and Aidan Schultz from 8. Good to have our commentary colleague back. Kurt Nommensen and Chris Tomlin from 9. Troy Davidson and Tony Baker from 10. Oscar Haynes, Mitchell Steele Allison, Michael Ladder, Peter Gretton, Greg Padgett and Luke Turner. Yes, you read that right. Luke Turner make up the field. We wait to see if Jared Knight and Wayne Visser will join us from pit lane as well, because they were in the server. If they do, excellent. We'll have a field of 28. If not, it looks like a field of 26. Cars slowly coming into position now. Front row about to join us. Will we see the boys join us from the back row? Yes, Jared Knight's in position. Just waiting for Wayne Visser now that Sam Chapman has joined us as well. Set to rock and roll here. This is Wednesday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. It is the Toyota 86. This is the grand finale from Sandown. Race 1 of 2. Beautiful start. Got away nicely to Sam Chapman. 4 wide further back in the pack as these guys try and sort themselves out. No Wayne Visser, but everybody else away cleanly over the rebel strips indeed. Michael having a good start up into 8th spot, trying to squeeze his way through. Trouble at the back, trouble at the back. 4 cars involved, and Concrete and Armco not too far away. Oh dear. David Lawler, Peter Gretton, Troy Davidson involved. And David Lawler on the tow rope as the rest of the field make their way onto the back straight for the first time. 15 minutes ahead of us here, and carnage already. But it was at the back of the pack. The boys at the front are good to race, hard. That run down to turn 6. Side by side they go. Ellis, the champion-elect. Whoa! Standing on the gas and squeezing his way through on Nat Schmidtke, who's lost out to Aaron Bryan, potentially there on the inside. Gets him back on the outside, up Dandenong Road. Schmidtke holds on to position number 9 for now. Bryan slots in. Bryan will be in the invert position, of course. Top 10 invert for the second race here as they come back down the main straight to complete lap 1. 1 minute 21.7 for Sam Chapman, the standing lap time here at Sandown.
Oh, that's a new livery.
It is a new livery. Have a look at John Merritt. Strikingly good in Ferrari red for the Echuca Toyota entry. A very new look for the Pulse Tuning boys. One that we're not used to. Oscar Haynes on pit road. So too Greg Padgett, Troy Davidson and David Lawler, all in trouble on the opening lap. Kurt Nermanson has just got himself back around to the start-finish line. Phil King still trying to hole around to the start-finish line. And David Lawler's been on pit lane for just over 1 minute and 20 now, as they make their way down the back straight for the second time. Chapman's got his way to the front, stays there ahead of Merritt. Guy Leach is third, but he's under serious pressure. Hammond, Barker, Patterson, Lavis and Ellis in close tow. It is a drive-through for David Lawler as well. So not only is he on the tow rope, if and when he gets back out there, he's got to come back through the lane for a drive-through. A double blow to David Lawler early in the piece here. 1 minute 21.7 was the time last time around for Sam Chapman. Let's have a look at what it is this time by the line, and we'll get an indication as to where we're going with the number of laps here. I reckon I've got an idea, but I just want it to firm up across the start-finish line before I put a number on it. 1 minute 21.9 as well. So we're in the 1 minute 20s. So that's going to be 3 laps every 4 minutes, which will give us 12 and 16 for the opening stanza of grand final night for the Toyota 86s. I'll take a breath. Welcome into Greg Heaney and Josh Zuno, who are here first up on a Wednesday night. Greg, you're obviously busy in the office, keeping yourself occupied, getting paint liveries and other things ready for the new season. Not out there in the 86, but have you had a drive of the car, and are you a fan of it?
I have driven the 86. It is a fun car to drive. These guys certainly make it a lot spicier from the viewing than what I remember it to be.
And it's been one of the great series on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Cup throughout the course of this season. As I say, 27 starters on the grid tonight. Have a look at this down the back straight if you don't mind. Aidan Schultz in 14th place, hung out to dry, slips to 15th. As Tony Baker squeezes on through. And Baker himself wearing, Schultz down the inside, can't get it done. Baker, of course, a distinctly different looking livery for him as well. Gone the yellow and red, and he's wearing black tonight. So they've ditched their famous 10 colours, have the Pulse Tuning boys. Josh Zuno, welcome into you. Keeping busy in race control and already a drive-through handed out.
Yeah, mate, it is borderline worse, to be honest with you. Yeah, he collected about 3 cars with no holding brakes there and was the person who lost control in the first place. So, no, unfortunately it happens, but yeah, got to hold those brakes, guys.
And it sounds like you've got your hands full tonight with the noises in the background, the family enjoying the show as well, as also trying to look after race control here, mate. Good luck with that. Down the back straight for the 4th time we go. Chapman the leader from Merritt. Now, remembering when we had a look at the points at the start of the night, Stuart Ellis is the effective leader here. As we have a look at Troy Davidson and just have a look at, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why the drive-through was handed out to David Lawler. And he's still got to observe that drive-through, of course, at some point here. Hasn't done it yet. Oh, more garbage. Mitchell Steele Allison down at Dandenong Road, down at turn 9, the end of the back straight. All of that in the early stages. Survival of the fittest here. Have a look at this gaggle. The gaggle of cars fighting for 5th. So Brett Barker's the meat and the sandwich there. He's got Oliver Patterson, Stuart Ellis right behind him, Guy Leach, Michael Hammond right in front of him. Hammond, the leader of the train at the moment. 1 minute 21.335, Stuart Ellis fastest lap of the race. These Toyotas are a great little car. They put up some great racing in the real world. We've seen it here in Australia. So much so that there's now 2 series for Toyota 86 Racing, of course, dedicated to Toyota 86 Racing, being, of course, the main series and the feeder scholarship series. The scholarship series will be up here in my backyard at Queensland Raceway in August, and looking forward to that. As we make our way down the back straight, Stuart Ellis decides that now's the time to make a move. Down the inside at the end of the back straight to try and get by Oliver Patterson. Yep, Patterson gives way. Patterson yields. Good racecraft there from Ellis to get on by. Barker the next target. Leach and Hammond ahead of him. This is lap 5. We think we're going 12. And of course, it's not just a good race car for its own one-make series, of course, boys. We know its exploits in production cars. There'll be a few of them on the grid this weekend at the place that shall remain nameless. Just a generally good road car as well. I know a few people have owned the Toyota 86 as a road car. They sing its praises on a regular basis. So it's a very... But then again, this is Toyota we're talking about. When have they produced a dud?
Oh, Zach, I'd pull you up there, mate. I did a bottom end on mine at 42,000 Ks.
Not doing anything silly or untoward?
I'm going to withhold that comment.
Good. That's what I thought. Thank you.
He probably had the Subi variant.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yes, Subaru BRZ, of course. The poor cousin, I think we're allowed to call it, of the Toyota 86. Now, down the back straight. Oliver Patterson 7th at the moment. And last in that gaggle. So first and second, Merritt and Chapman have disappeared. 2 seconds on the pack. For Chapman, he needs to try and find a way by Merritt. I think that's rather important in terms of where he is in relation to Ellis in the championship fight. The championship will come down to this final race if Ellis stays in 6th at the moment. Because he's not going to do enough from there to win it, but at the same time, he's not going to do enough to lose it here either, because he would have to DNF to lose the lead in the championship, I would imagine. Across the line we go. In fact, I don't know what the points matrix is here, but I know his advantage is plus 40. I think it's 46 points, I think we saw at the start of the night. So he's got a good buffer to play with there. Tony Baker off the road, coming onto the main straight, rejoins. It does so behind his teammate Luke Turner in 18th place. Now, actually, we've already seen a different look for Merritt and Baker. Can we get a shot of Luke Turner, please, Daniel Correa-Sar, and just have a look at what he's running with tonight in the number 10. Yes, a distinctly different look for Luke Turner as well. It's almost as though the boys have decided last minute to have a run here and haven't had time to put a livery together, because normally we'd see that distinct red and yellow. Might have to have a chat to them at the end of the night and find out what that's all about, because it is very off-putting from a commentary standpoint. GT4 still to come. Very excited about that. The showdown between Trent Lavis and Chris Whitaker. Very exciting. The two arch nemesis, toe-to-toe for premiership glory. 5-way fight continues for 3rd here, and it's blinking in this kind of territory. Oh, geez. Actually, it's 4th through 8th now. You can see that Michael Hammond's disappeared. Michael Hammond's disappeared up the road. He's got a good buffer. Good little bit of breathing space there. Aaron Bryan's dropped it down the road. Coming onto the main straight. Chopper shot, you just saw it from the chopper cam there. It was Aaron Bryan off the road. Tony Baker off the road again now as well, this time at Dandenong Road. Stuart Ellis holds 6th spot. Guy Leach just ahead of him. They're chasing Brett Barker. Get the feeling I get the feeling I might need to get the last lap cam up ready for the night. This is an absolute beauty, this battle. Let's bring in Greg Heaney. Any of your boys running in this series, Greg? I'm struggling to find any of them out there.
No, I don't have any guys running in the 86 series as yet. So I have driven against Mikey Hammond. He did have a couple of lap battle on Monday night in the GT3s. I have raced against him in another series or two. So I wouldn't put it past Mikey actually catching Sam and John at this rate.
Whoa, look at this 2x2 through Dandenong Road to turn 9. Ellis holding on to 5th. Behind that, Patterson's got by Leach. Ravis has latched onto the back of the fight now. Still a 5-car fight for 4th. Yeah, there aren't too many people that don't have a Michael Hammond story in this club. They're good or bad in terms of having an on-track battle with the great man. Down the main straight, a 5-point penalty has been issued to Aiden Schultz for an incident with Tony Baker. Was that the one at Dandenong Road or the one coming onto the main straight, please, Josh?
There's the one into Dandenong. No, coming onto the main straight. Sorry, it was the last.
Copy. Yep.
Seconds gone.
Schultz just grabbed himself a toe to pit lane, and I think he might have just parked up for the night. So that's disappointing for Schultz. We'll hopefully see him on track in the second race, but stranger things have happened. Have a look at this. Race leaders. Oh, look at what's going on here. Look at what's going on here. Look who's lurched up onto the back, crept up onto the back of the two-way fight for the lead to make it a three-way fight. It's Chapman and Hammond trailing John Merritt at the moment. Merritt fighting for his life. Chapman to the outside. Opens up the door. Michael Hammond doesn't wait for a second invitation. Chapman moves across the cover off. Hammond on the outside. Contact gone. That one has championship implications for Sam Chapman. Mikey's got him to the side of him. Now look at this. This 3-wide on the run down Dandenong Road. Something has to give. Hammond's come to the fight. Chapman's come unstuck. That one will be reviewed by race control, no doubt. Holy smoke.
I will say this though, I'll give them props. All of them came out onto the main straight with no contact of each other. That's 5 cars going through that last section of corners, and there was no contact. But unfortunately for Mikey Hammond, we saw it live. And so it does seem pretty clear-cut. Went a little bit too deep. Probably wasn't expecting such a slow-up from Chapman's car. Right into the side, and that's spun him out. So Sam Chapman down into P8 now. And as we saw just then, race control is taking that under investigation. We will wait to see how they rule on that. But my money would be that Michael Hammond is most likely looking at a penalty.
Yeah, I'm happy with that assessment. Certainly. I'll be interested to get Greg Heaney's thoughts on it in just a moment as well. In the meantime, yeah, I think Kev Coleman summed it up for everybody. That escalated quickly. Fireworks off everywhere. Have a look at this again. The moment of the season.
Oh!
Right here. It is a 5-second penalty for Sam Chapman for moving under brakes with Michael Hammond. Now, you're a brave man making that call so quickly, Josh Zuno.
Kind of wish I wasn't in here, to be honest, but since I am, I guess I have to comment. Yeah, no, so Sam was already on the brakes, and then there's a definite change of direction. When both boys are chosen their line, it's impeded Mikey's braking, so...
Copy that.
Yep.
All right. So, that actually is advantage Stuart Ellis, who sits 4th at the moment. He's following Oliver Patterson, who's following Michael Hammond. Forget about Merritt, he's gone. For once that Echuca Toyota logo looks at home on a bloody Toyota. And Merritt's leading from the front. Oh, geez, Greg Heaney, you hate being in situations like that where championships are on the line and one moment makes or breaks it.
Oh, most definitely. Certainly looks spicy from on board. I'm not really going to throw my hat in the ring, being that race control's already chimed in with their thoughts and already made the call on it. So I'm going to leave that one alone. But yeah, definitely looks spicy.
Indeed. Down to Dandenong Road, penultimate lap. Have a look at this. A little bit of SMSing from Brett Parker there, all over the back of Stuart Ellis, Oliver Patterson. They've just lost the toe with Michael Hammond. Ellis to the inside of Patterson, can't get it done. Patterson chops him off. back to the main straight, white flag in the air, or is it the checkered? Let's have a look. It's checkered. It's checkered. They didn't get back for the final lap. Now that's interesting for mine. The checkered flag flies.
Oh, the touch of the final corner from John Baldwin.
John Baldwin's going to come through in 11th.
I think Christensen might get the position here. He does.
Yep, he does indeed. Now that's, apologies folks, that one rather crept up on us because we were so embroiled in the incident with, or immersed in the incident with Chapman and Hammond that we didn't even notice the clock had expired. It expired because, well, 15 minutes. I'm still a little bit amused by that, the fact that we didn't get an extra lap in there. We were only lapping around that 1 minute 21, 1 minute 22 marker. So we were obviously perilously close to getting an extra lap in. And I had it as I said, if you wind it back to 1 minute 20, you would have got a 12th lap in to a 16th minute, but they didn't get back to the line with 2 seconds or 3 seconds on the clock to allow that. So that's rather unfortunate. That one runs very, very close to that 15-minute threshold. And therefore, John Merritt, a very commanding win. Michael Hammond holding on for second. This is one of the moments of the night, one of the moments of the season in the Toyota 86s. Let's have a look. Chapman moving across. Oh, yeah. Although it could be argued that you do move naturally under brakes at that corner of the circuit going across to the right-hand side to the ripple strip. But nevertheless, race control have adjudicated on that now, and we'll stand by for a 25-minute race for race number 2. Sam Chapman, John Merritt. Can we just have a look at those results? So John Merritt from Michael Hammond, Oliver Patterson, Stuart Ellis, Brett Barker, Sam Chapman got back to 6th, but he loses 5 seconds, but he only loses 1 spot to Guy Leach. Then Matt Schmidtke, Adam Lavis, and Gary Wellman, the top 10. David Christensen, John Baldwin, then Aaron Bryan, Jared Knight, Luke Turner, Chris Tomlin, Oscar Haynes, Tony Baker, Michael Latta, and Kurt Nomanson made up the top 20. Now, so apologies on 2 fronts there. We were building that up for a last lap. We didn't even see the white flag wave. That's how immersed we were in what was going on the circuit. So apologies there. We'll do better next time. Daniel Chris here alongside me. A 10-second penalty's been handed out to Michael Latta for racing room to Tony Baker on lap 11. And one hand on the championship, I think it's fair to say, for Stuart Ellis, if we remind everybody of what those points were at the start of the night as the warm-up gets underway. It's a 3-minute warm-up, ladies and gentlemen. There it was for you. Stuart Ellis led by, 24 points over Sam Chapman. Reece Gosner a further 8 back. But the fact that Ellis has got the job done there in that race, finishing in the top 4, and Chapman slipped to 7th, advantage further still to Stuart Ellis. Kurt Chapman, Adam Lavis, and Brett Barker 4, 5, and 6. Oh boy. So, Chapo already on the blower to me, saying that was my breaking line. So I dare say our mate Josh Uno is going to have a steward's hearing coming his way at the end of the night, and a little bit of an appeal from Chapman. So, and that was the second. It's easy to make that adjudication on the fly and have a look at it live. When you have a look at it the second time round, and then when you go back and have a look at other driving lines around that corner, it is traditional to move across from one ripple strip to the other, but you've got to get on the anchors at some point. So I get exactly where Chapo's coming from, and at the same time I get where Josh is coming from with regards to, well, rule of thumb racing. If you are moving under brakes, you can be deemed to be in the wrong. So that'll be an interesting one to have a look at, and whether there was room or not for Mikey there, I'm not going to get into that at this point in time. It's not unlike Mikey to throw the fifth to the outside and try and do the unimaginable, do the impossible. All right, so with that one behind us, we now press on to race number 2. Reminder that this is the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is Wednesday Night Motorsport across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube, and we do it with thanks to the great people at Waste Options, Sprite Insider, Player One Sim Gear, Loadsy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. Oh boy. Josh, I'll get your comments as a racer. Greg, yours too, just as the cars get ready to line up here on the grid. Oh, hang on. I'm going to have to come back to you because cars are lining up on the grid. The clouds have closed in. We've got the threat of rain. We're at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Will there be rain here or will it arrive mid-race? We'll find out very shortly. Clock only moving 1 second at a time rather than twice as fast as it would in the real world, which is a traditional setting of ours in some servers. 24 degrees the ambient, 21 on track. Gary Wellman, Adam Lavis the front row, Matt Schmidtke, Guy Leach the second, Sam Chapman, Brett Barker the third, Stuart Ellis, Oliver Patterson the fourth, Michael Hammond, John Merritt the fifth. Quick comment from the two of you. Racing through here in an invert situation, trying to keep it clean, trying to get your way through. At least Sandown's one of those circuits where overtaking opportunities do present themselves, but it is fraught with danger always.
Oh, most definitely. And throw in the threat of rain. It wouldn't be Melbourne without it.
Josh?
How are we looking for rain? I'm just thinking on that front. I can't actually see any on the radar, so that threat of rain may not actually eventuate. But yes,
Open racing. Have a look at this. I'll come back to you, Josh. The run down towards the first corner. Let's hope they can keep it clean on the run to turn one. Adam Lavis is going to lead them to the first corner. Up one spot. Gary Wellman got swamped off the line. Guy Leach and Brett Barker have jumped up 2 spots already. Matt Schmidtke, the big loser in all of that, he's dropped 6 spots down to 9. Oh, trouble. Middle of the road. Is that Chapman? Yes, it is. Sam Chapman. Oh, that's a horrible way for your championship campaign to end. It isn't over yet, but any mathematical chance he had of getting by Stuart Ellis and winning the title has taken a real nosedive. Oh dear. Oliver Patterson in 7th spot to the end of the back straight, down towards Dandenong Road. Merritt down the inside and got him. Patterson will fight back on the outside and keep Merritt at bay on the run up towards the final corner on the glass and all! Trying to keep Merritt at bay and does so temporarily. Merritt will force the issue out of the final corner, down the main straight. Patterson still has his nose in front. Merritt's got the inside line when they get down to turn 1. And if he can hold it, he'll be able to force Patterson across to the outside for turn 2. But no, Patterson's got there. Patterson's got his nose in front. And have a look behind them. Schmidtke and Hammond as well. Schmidtke to the inside. Merritt to the inside. Patterson right around the outside. No holds barred here on lap 2. Couple of cars fighting the grass behind them. Merritt finally gets by Patterson. Brilliant out and out, duke out racing between those two men. The elbows, the arms, everything out, but they kept it clean. Magnificent. A hard, clean, fair fight. Exactly the way we like it. Patterson still trying to find a way by up the back straight. This is ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure Mikey Hammond was actually pushing Matt down the front straight there.
Oh, Patterson blocked it up. Patterson had it all crossed up. I think you're right, Greg. That would not surprise me in the slightest. Bump drafting, Talladega style. How good. Round they come, back to the main straight. Another lap in the books. Patterson the leader. And now they head down the main straight one more time. Lap 3, it's a 25-minute race. What did we get, 11 laps in 15, so we're probably adding 7 or 8 to that count.
Trying
Probably
to get
8
us
to that count, and possibly a splash and dash as well, boys.
Well, I'm trying to get us a more sophisticated weather system. You can see it on the right-hand side of your screen. It isn't fully calibrated, nice. So I do apologise for everyone at home. But if you can read it, it's telling us that the precipitation chance is 0%. But we do have quite a high wind. It's a 28 kph wind. But I cannot see the current direction of that. So I don't think we will have rain in this race, but it is a 25-minute event. So I'm not sure if maybe that'll develop over time. You can see that the clouds are coming, but I'm not sure if that'll mean rain or it'll just be cloud cover.
Copy that. 4 minutes gone. Off goes Hammond down to 9th. and loses out to Schmidtke and Patterson. Schmidtke up the outside, gets by Patterson as well. Merritt holding on. Oh,
look at the race control. So they've reversed that.
No further action.
And it will be a racing incident.
Oh.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I had enough time to spend another 5 minutes on that one, and while there was definitely a little bit of a wiggle, both parties contributed. Mikey did sound it late, so yes.
A correction, a redress from race control. Patterson down the inside, Schmidtke up the outside. Patterson, gotcha. Schmidtke rides the ripple strips. We'll have the inside running as they get to turn 2. Now, will we see wet weather? Will we see the rain arrive or not? Daniel Caesar seems to think not. We'd love to see it. It's one of the cars that is eligible. Whoa! For wet weather racing! Schmidtke moving to the inside. Off the racing line. He's a sitting duck there as Michael Hammond blasts on by. I'd love to see some wet weather about 15 minutes into this, just to really spice it up. It is Melbourne after all. And as we saw the other night, listen, you can say that there's no rain around and it can be dry, but it can be an absolute mongrel to clear the water.
That long shot down the back straight looking down towards the train station, it certainly looks like there's potential rain. Looking at the trees look a little bit fuzzy in the distance.
Indeed they do. Very well picked up from you, Greg Heaney. Now, down the main straight we go. Michael Ladder's off the road. Guy Leach is leading from Adam Lavis and Brett Barker. Have a look at this. Brett Barker down the inside of Lavis to second. Nicely done, right on cue. Oh,
whoa, that's wide. He's kept it well
high through turn 1. And that's very well done.
The other thing to notice is the Toyota 86s have quite a significant amount of body roll, and so some of these high curbs here at Sandown, it's almost like they're taking motocross jumps on some of them, so they do have to be very mindful of that. We saw Matt Schmidtke almost get loose coming on the previous corner there a couple of laps ago, and so although you'd be tempted to try and cut the line in order to shorten the track, the amount of air time that you might take by doing so may not work in your favour.
No, not at all. Post-race show to come, and then, of course, we reconvene. We reset and go again when we head to the Interlargos circuit in Brazil. And our coverage of the final round of GT4 for this season. Tomorrow night, Daniel and I doubling up again and bringing you all the action from the Sprayton side of Thursday night motorsport. Double triple. It is a triple of Formula V, it is a triple of Porsches. It is Formula V from the island, it is Porsches from Interlargos. 3 races for each, and it's all coming away tomorrow night live and free on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Here's Michael Hammond down the inside of young Ollie Patterson.
What a battle it's been as well. Lots of door rubbing. What we'd love to see. No actual accidents, but lots of door rubbing.
Wait for it. Don't speak too soon, my friend. The fireworks let off very, very late in the opening race. I don't doubt that we're in for the same sort of treatment here. Have a look at this. Hammond's got a real fight on his hands here, but now he finds a way by Patterson and puts him at bay. Schmidtke's not out of this fight yet either, just quietly down the back straight again. 17 minutes to go, and Guy Leach, Brett Barker and Adam Lavis, the 1, 2 and 3 at the moment. Stuart Ellis, champion elect in 4th. John Merritt is 5th. Ben Wellman is 6th. Now, obviously, the incident means, the reversal of the incident means that Chapman finishes 6th, but it still compromises him in relevance to Stuart Ellis, and that's what we're more worried about there. And then that incident there at the start of this one as well has him down in 25th position after a quick splash and dash down pit lane at the end of lap 2, and Peter Gretton out of the race. So, no, sorry, not out of the race, just a lap down, and Aidan Schultz a non-starter. So we're down to 26 already, and Guy Leach leads Brett Barker down the main straight. The Toyota 86 is from Sandown. It's nice to have you along for the ride. 25 minutes time certain. We think that'll be about 19 laps or so with the splash and dash. Not too confident now, having cocked it up with the first one, but that's okay. We'll continue on. Michael Hammond sitting there very nicely in a 4-way fight, but in a position he'd much prefer to be in at the head of the train. Off track goes John Baldwin, drops down to 16. 9 minutes gone, 16 to play, and Wednesday Night Motorsport for the first time this year on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, the last Wednesday of March. Good afternoon to those of you tuning in the west, good evening to those of you tuning in the east, and hopefully you're a little bit drier than what we are up here in Queensland at the moment. Sunshine State, my backside. Fair dinkum, it's been wet this week. Jared Knight, good charge from him up to 9th from the inside. Makes light work of Matt Schmidtke. There goes Aaron Bryan. 3 cars caught up in that. Bryan was just the unlucky one. Good luck, Josh. Actually, really, in the fair dinkum department, he wasn't the unlucky one. The car in front of him had already locked up. That was an isolated incident. And he got into the side of the second car because he was too deep under brakes. So he really wasn't the unlucky one at all. Brett Barker, have a look at this. They've caught Guy Leach. Guy Leach is now under pressure. Barker has caught Leach. He's brought Adam Lavis along for the ride, along with champion Alex Stewart-Haas and Hot Lap Merritt. Are they racing to rain or are they racing to the flag? One or the other. Down the back straight again. Lap 8, grand final night. How good. Riding on board with Adam Lavis to the end of the back straight. Along Dandenong Road. Toyota 86 racing at its finest on the platforms of the GSRC. I haven't called too much of this on our platforms just yet, but I'm all for more of it.
Very interesting to see 5 cars right at the front fighting. Usually you see them form out in little packs, but in this one here, we're 11 minutes in of 25, and it goes all the way from Guy Leach to John Merritt there. Gary Wellman is 6 seconds back, so most likely he won't be joining us. Looks like John Merritt looks to go on the inside.
Yep, and get by Stuart Ellis.
Oh, he's done well.
Yeah, and so did Ellis. Ellis did remarkably well as well there to give Merritt the racing room and not compromise himself too much. So top 5 now remains that way, but Merritt moves into 4th. It's interesting.
What's this?
It's interesting. We'll have a look at a replay in just a moment. Oh, hang on, we're on board with Adam Lavis.
I thought I spotted
Let's have a look at this.
I thought I spotted his wipers moving. So some of these guys will have auto wipers on, and the wipers will tend to engage when rain is approaching. So I thought I saw them move. However, maybe that was just my eyes playing tricks on me. So
yeah, maybe so.
Well, I don't know, Dan. Are the rain lights automatic, or do they just come on because they're on now? Because I noticed on the last lap up the back straight with Adam, the car in front had its rain light on, and it just showed it again there. And
the headlights are on as well. So it's dark, all right, at Sandown, and it's 4:13 in the afternoon, progressive and civilised time. Aaron Bryan's going to get a 15-second penalty for that nosedive on Tony Baker on lap 7. Greg Heaney, Josh Zuno, Zach Caven, Daniel Correa-Sara in central commentary with you on a Wednesday night. Keep an eye on it, boys. We feel as though there's rain on the way, but there are patches of blue around which might save them. Merritt to the inside of Lavis.
No, couldn't get it done.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, but that might open it up for Ellis.
Ellis got him.
He does.
Ellis got Merritt back. Now, this is an interesting one, an invert race, because, okay, Merritt was at the pointy end of the previous race, as was Stuart Ellis, but it's interesting to see how this is working. The early race incident for Sam Chapman really has helped out the likes of Guy Leach, Brett Barker, and Adam Lavis remain at the pointy end for this long, this amount of time into the race. We're now 13.25 minutes in, so it's really been to their benefit. Everybody else behind that, not so.
Now, Dan, you might have also been right there. I noticed there on the coverage that John Merritt's wiper was going on the way into turn 3.
Yep, and I reckon I just saw a drop of rain on the circuit as well on the trackside cameras. So keep your eyes peeled, ladies and gentlemen. The rain is on its way. They are racing into it. Safety point license penalty for Peter Gretton. Ellis with the big slide. Ellis drives to pit lane. Now, is this for wets or is this for a splash and dash? We're about to find out. Does he go up on the jacks? Let's stick with this and have a look. I reckon I saw a couple of drops of rain there a minute ago.
No, he hasn't gotten on the
Ellis
jacks.
is not going for wets. He's going for that splash of fuel. Out he comes. 8.48 seconds. Gone. Thanks for coming. Maybe we're all seeing things. I'm not sure. Back straight again. This is exciting nevertheless. And these guys at the front will be thinking, well, if we can see it out until potentially that rain does arrive, then that's going to help us 2 for 1 in the pit stops.
The other thing to
grab the fuel, grab the tyres.
Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind is that we are dealing with a dry track, and then if there is rain, it'll come in a stage. So if you can keep those dry tyres hot, they'll still work in the initial parts of rain. It won't be an issue. The problem will be if it does come at a consistent rate, in which case then it'll start to sheen up that racing line, and you will have no choice but to pit. Otherwise, you will find a metal barrier quite quickly if that were to be the case. So, considering we have, give or take, 10 minutes. In fact, it's 10 minutes on the dot. Jade Taylor Wipers also clean the window. Yes, that's a good point. I was going to mention that, Jade. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, they can also clear debris as well. So here comes
Sky Leach as well. And so they're slowly but surely zigzagging here. Gary Wellman to pit lane. Stuart Ellis came back out in 11th spot. That's where the effective leaders will be looking to be. Around the vicinity of Stuart Ellis. Oscar Haynes, so impressive last night in the up-and-comer, sitting there in 7th at the moment. Up 10 spots. Phil King up 16 spots at the moment. This is hugely exciting because we just don't know what this weather's going to do. We know it's going to be fine and dry in Brazil. We know that GT4 hasn't been blessed with the Tempest model just yet. Adam
I think they get part of it.
Running 3rd.
I'm pretty sure they get part of the Tempest. They don't get the rain, but you can turn the fog up.
No, that's right. Yeah, so Tempest works. So yes, rain is only enabled for those cars who have wets. Technically, the Formula 4 doesn't have wets; it just has all-purpose tyres. But yes, Tempest will work in terms. So everything except rain, pretty much. But condensation will play a part, and things like fog, as you mentioned, Greg. So yes, they can utilise those. And fog, I don't know if you guys have, I don't know if we've broadcast the fog race yet, but you can have pretty serious fog, which just absolutely wreaks havoc on your peripherals. So side-by-side racing gets pretty hairy. Maybe we'll see that at some stage. But yes, no rain, but they do get all the other benefits of the Tempest weather system.
Be that. Keep your eyes peeled, ladies and gentlemen. Is there rain arriving at Sandown, or are we going to scrape through the skin of our teeth before it graces us with its presence? Matt Schmidtke sitting 5th at the moment. And now that we're this late in the race, the argument could be had about persevering with it and not worrying about it if you've already stopped. That is. But how much of an invoice do you pay for changing tyres with that smaller fuel dash as well? Down the back straight.
At this point in the race, on hot tyres, you'd be mad.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt Schmidtke 5th. Last of those yet to stop.
Oh no, and he's spun.
Schmidtke's gone round! End of the arm car he goes! Oh, Schmidtke's thrown it away. He was 5th, he's still 5th, but by G, he's a lot further away from the tail of Jared Knight than he'd like to be. Look at that bang. Gone, see you later. The old Jacques Villeneuve-inspired helmet. How the hell did he keep it off the Armco? My goodness gracious me. Schmidtke to pit lane. Top 5 in, top 5 cleansed. Merritt on his merry way. Merritt leads. Barker and Lavers to pit exit. Leach, Ellis, then Schmidtke. Jared Knight's on his way out. Here they come. The train. Oh, it's a race in 6 at the front of the field. Merritt's going to lead them. In fact, I think that, yes, there is. That car to Adam Lavis is lap traffic. Forget about that. So it's a race in 5. And the top 2 have got 1.5 seconds breathing space. That is Merritt and Barker. What about a drive from Brett Barker? What a performance that's been from him. Only the one retirement thus far. That's going to be Greg Padgett. No one else has tripped up yet. There have been cars drop a lap here, including David Lawler on your screen, including Peter Gretton and Michael Ladder, but everybody else remains out there on the lead lap. 6 minutes to go. Take a breath and hold on, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much still to play out here. I think it's going to be, have a look at where Merritt is when he comes back to the line. It's going to be touch and go as to whether it's 4 or 5 laps here as they cross the line. I think it'll be 4, given the 121s that we're running with. There was 5 minutes and 26 seconds on the clock. So I think again we're going to run perilously close to time. And we're only going to get 18 laps. Now, Chapman's worked his way, that's a very good point from Jay Taylor. Chapman's worked his way back into the 10. Now, what was that stop on lap number 2 enough to get him home? Let's wait and see. It's not going to be enough for the champion. It might just be enough to give him the top 10 finish. Matt Schmidtke side by side with Oscar Huggins, getting the elbows out and dirty. How good's this Wednesday night motorsport? Platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club from Sandown. Back straight upon us again. It's Merritt, it's Barker, Ellis, it's Lavis, it's Hammond, it's Patterson, Knight, Wellman, Chapman and Haynes the top 10. Schmidtke's 11. Christensen, King and Baker in this fight as well. Have a look at Baker all over the back of Phil King and David Christensen. Up the back straight. And in on road they'll go. Baker, a little bit of SMS treatment on the tail of Phil King. Baker will be looking forward to tomorrow night. The V's from the island. Big gun down the inside at 9 to get by King.
No.
And then on the response, King has the run and the momentum to get by.
Oh, no, he lost it. That's Baker around on that final corner.
Dear.
So all that work gone.
That's unlucky. That's really unlucky for funny. Now, here's Chapman. Chapman down the inside to go to 8 on Wellman. Chapman back to 8. Is he good on fuel to get to the flag? That's the only unknown. 2.5 laps to go for John Merritt.
Brett Barker's right there as well. So it's not going to be smooth sailing for John Merritt. He's got to keep the lead there. And the draft is fairly significant in these cars. So we'll see exactly how that works out as we wind down to the last couple of laps here. But John Merritt's done an incredible job thus far. Also has gained a ton of spots, 9 positions from the start of the race.
Now, there's a good question there about Guy Leach, what's happened to him. He's dropped down to 14th. Now, none the wiser as to why, because he only stopped on lap 11 for 8.25 seconds. Has he been involved in an incident?
It does look like he's had a couple of off tracks. I'll just wait to see if there's any development here from Brett Barker. He's pretty close.
Probably from the first one that you can see there, Dan. So yeah, he did go off into the last complex of corners and then had a very difficult time rejoining because of the nature of where that is.
Let's have a look here. So this is Guy Leach. Oh, he took so much curb. And you're right, that is a difficult spot.
He certainly had a moment. Yeah. Not just a difficult spot to get out of, but a difficult spot to... Oh, he's done well, actually. Because you don't have any peripheral vision there. It's a blind corner as they're turning in from the right there. Your left as you're looking the wrong way. And, yeah, he's done well to get away with that, but... It proved very, very costly. Right. 1 lap to go. I think I'm more confident with that one, that assumption, that analysis this time around. Main straight. The white flag should be in the air and waving now for John Merritt and Brett Barker. Let's go. And it is. Thankfully. Can Brett Barker pull off the move of his life and grab the race win of his career on the platforms of the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club? Or will the old experienced hand of John Merritt double up here on a championship Wednesday? Stuart Ellis in third is doing enough to secure the championship, but John Merritt is right there under pressure from Brett Barker and cannot afford to put a foot wrong on the run to the checkered flag. Beautiful run off turn 4 for Barker. We're riding on board with him. Down the back straight we go to Dandenong Road. And at the end of the back straight, the run through 6, 7, 8 and 9, that's where it could be won and lost for Barker. Is he going to be close enough to have a crack on Merritt, or will Merritt do enough to hold on and then roll on through to take the checkered flag? Let's wait and see. 7, 8, 9. Oh, it was win it or bin it for Barker. He had nothing to lose there if he just took a shot, took a punt. But no, he'll be happy to stay behind Merritt and follow him all the way to the checkered flag. And let's be perfectly honest, you can't turn your nose up at a second place finish when the man leading you to the line is one of the stalwarts of the club. Clean sweep at Sandown for John Merritt. Gets the job done in the Toyota 86 Grand Finale. Stuart Ellis with third as your champion in this series from 1 of 2024. Well done to Stewie, and did it with a fourth and a third tonight. That was good enough. Have a look at the argy-bargy further back. The pack, Oscar Haynes under the pump here, trying to get by, not going to be able to do that. Held off Matt Schmidtke, David Chris and Phil King. That was 9%, 11, 12 and 13. Chapman got back to 8, couldn't get by Jared Knight in the end, who finished 7th. In between Ellis and Knight, it was Slavis in 4th, Hammond in 5th, and Patterson in 6th. Oh boy. Well done to Stuart Ellis. Not right there tonight, but in a 10-week championship, boys, consistency wins championships more times than not, and he reaps the reward of consistency throughout the course of 10 weeks. A very impressive campaign, and I mean, the field tonight had some real heavyweights in GSRC present for it, so he knew the equation. He knew he had to keep it clean. He knew he had to stay within an earshot of Sam Chapman. Managed to beat him in both races with Chapman come undone.
That was a good race from him, but yeah, John Merritt just had the legs on that last one there.
Now, memo to you, Greg Henry. I'm just having a look through. The team name lists here. And it says Stuart Ellis is a privateer. So how soon do you Whiskey Business Boys want to have a chat to him?
Oh, we'll see. If he's interested in the GT3s, I mean, he can drive whatever he wants. I've got no issues. Just I'll have to. Oh, look at that! Speaking of the devil, hey Stu.
G'day, guys.
Speaking of the devil, there he is. Stewie, well done, mate. We've got you here for a chat post-race, and we're looking forward to that in just a moment. Just for everybody else at home, there are the results. Merritt from Barker, Ellis the champion in third, Lavis, Hammond, then Patterson, Knight, Chapman, Wellman, and Haynes, Schmidtke, Christensen, King, Leach, Baker, Ryan, Davidson, Turner, Baldwin, and Normanson. We know these are provisional because we do believe Brian's got a penalty coming his way. Over the page, Mitchell Steele, Allison fought back from last in the first race to finish 21st in the second. Tomlin, Lawler, Latta, Breton, and Padgett made up the running order. Padgett a non-finisher in all of that. Stuart Ellis, nice to have you on board for chat here, mate. How does the tag Toyota 86 champion on the platforms of GSRC sound to you?
Yeah, sounds pretty good. I think I was lucky more than anything else throughout the season. I think everyone really struggled to put a couple of races, good, clean races together in each week. So it was tough. No one could really string a good run together. I think we missed Reese towards the end of the season. It probably would have been a different story if he had been the last few rounds, because he was always setting the pace every week. So, yeah, probably lucky more than anything else, I'd say.
Indeed. Now, with regards to the championship as a whole, mate, the last couple of weeks, the intrigue and the inclusion of wet weather, we knew that it was a possibility tonight. Were you happy not to see it?
I don't mind it, to be honest. I find the iRacing have done a fantastic job of it. The car's really drivable, so you can steer your way around all right. So it would have made things interesting, that's for sure. It's been a really tough season because everyone's been so close. So we probably had a bit of wet weather, could have made things a bit average, but yeah, it's good to drive. I really enjoy it, actually. Probably hard to see more than hard to drive, you know.
Well, not only that, it adds a new a level of competition to it, doesn't it? I mean, I've been saying it for weeks. This is a huge reinvention of the wheel. It's a venture into the unknown. You guys now, I mean, it's a novelty to you. Every time the rain server pops up, it's like, hang on, we haven't had this before. This is good fun. But how much time have you spent learning the craft and reassessing as you go? Because let's face it, everybody's thrown in the deep end here. You're all dealing with it. It's not as though we've got people that are new to iRacing that are racing up against guys that have been doing it for 15 years per se. Everyone's meeting the wet weather at the same time, mate. This is a huge game changer.
Yeah, it is, and you've got to learn each track because they're all, you know, different in where the grip is. So you've got to do a bit of practice. But our first wet race that we did at Watkins Glen, it started raining throughout the race, and the way the track progressed to get more and more slippery while we were still all on slicks was quite predictable. So it was manageable. So none of us had done any of that before. So I think it's good. You got to learn the track though, because it's so different in the wet where the grip is and where it isn't, and different, you know, play around and get different lines. So it adds a new dimension, that's for sure.
Indeed, and regenerates a lot of interest, not just for competitors to try and get back involved in the hope that they won't miss out that whole FOMO thing, if you like. But also it reinvents the wheel for those tuning in at home. At least when they turn up now on any given night to watch our racing, they think, oh, hang on, if it's a server that's eligible for wet weather, we could be in for something a little bit different. A whole heap of wash, rinse, repeat when it comes to the weather forecast is now no longer a factor, which is really cool. The Toyota 86 is a car. Is it a car that you like? I mean, obviously you've taken it to a championship, so there's got to be a little bit of an appreciation for that. But where does it stack up with regards to the other cars that you drive, not just within the club, but in the sim full stop?
Yeah, I really like driving the slower cars, but I'm an old bloke, so that probably suits me a bit better. It's good. The racing's always good. There's heaps of draft. It's predictable. I think they've done the damage model well, so you can bump doors without too much net code. Like it's a good car, and the racing's been great. So I really enjoy it.
Indeed, and we're looking forward to hopefully seeing more of this next season as well. From your standpoint, mate, I mean, on the subject of slower cars, we've got Formula V on tomorrow night, but what do you do now that this season's done? Do you eye off a title defence if the Toyotas are back on the agenda next season? And how do you spend the Easter period? Do you walk away from the rig for a little bit, or do you try and keep match fit, so to speak?
So I like racing on a Wednesday night. That suits me. So whatever is running on a Wednesday night, I'll be there having a crack. So that's what I'll do. I'm racing in the ANZ National GT3 series. So there's a race on that this Saturday night, which is not very Easter friendly, but anyway. So struggling to keep up with the fast boys. So that's good fun. It's stretching me, that's for sure. I'm struggling, but I'm hanging in there.
Nothing like giving you a challenge, though.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're very fast, those boys. Unbelievable.
Now, as far as the 86 is concerned, I haven't seen the whole season. This is, of course, the first one that we've broadcast, but you've raced for 10 weeks. What circuits did you like? What circuits did you loathe? And if you were to look at, you know, putting a calendar together for next season, what would you keep and what would you try?
I thought they were all great choices. I think Sam's done a great job putting the season together for us. You know, every track had, this is probably the tightest track that we ran at, so they all had massive long straights. So it didn't matter how fast you were or not. There was always a pack at the front racing. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it brought great racing week in, week out. Everyone was in the mix every week. Probably wasn't a big fan of the pit strategy. I like just to get it, you know, in a short race just to go and do that. But it did throw some changes into the mix. So it all, it was a great season. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't change too much.
No. All right, very nicely done. Now the stage is yours, the floor is yours, mate. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Just thank all the boys at Dynamic Sim Sports. So they certainly helped me do a bit of practice for tonight as well. So that's been great. Thanks to Sam for putting it on, and thanks to Josh, who's been there every week on a Wednesday doing the RC for us. And to all the boys, and I want to apologise to Mike Hammond as well, because there was 3 weeks in a row that I took him off, which is very embarrassing. And I was even trying not to, and I still managed to do it. So anyway, he's been very good about it, but I do feel bad.
Yes, I was going to say, Mikey's been on the raw end of the stick as much time as he's been in the wrong in those situations, mate, so don't worry too much about it. It balances out.
Yeah, but it was always me.
In the air. Probably dominated, but someone's got to be. Someone's got to be, trust me. Hey, well done, mate. I think Greg Heaney might have a chat to you about getting you on.
Do you reckon I'll send him a checkbook? Or I'll just send him a blank check and say, how much do you want?
Just called. Yeah. Exactly. And on that note, let's move to Sam Chapman. 2-horse race, mate. You had to hit your markers tonight. It was always going to be tough to catch Stewart. The race 1 incident with Mikey Hammond didn't help, but then obviously getting caught up in some drama early in race 2, that just about put the nail on the coffin.
Yeah, sure did. That little change and bit of my enemy. It's not the first time I've sort of caught on the inside there. I was just being a bit, when you're being too careful. I'm just trying to sort of take it slow on that outside, and it took a bit too much, and had too many cars go past. So that was unfortunate. I think I was a bit, thrown off by the initial pulling penalty in race 1, and trying to work out what was going on there. Yeah, unfortunate, another silver, but congrats to Stuart. He's been brilliant all season, and we've had some great races this season with a bunch of them around. It's been a lot of fun.
With State Silver, hopefully a championship coming your way somewhere down the line, mate. You are due, but at the moment you are the perennial bridesmaid, as they say. Must be a little bit frustrating though, because at the end of the day, it was there for the taking tonight. Had Stewart slipped up, he didn't. He drove consistent, and he stayed out of trouble. It's always a pressure cooker of a grand final night.
Yeah, it is, and it's just disappointing. I was doing really well race 1, and sort of quite happily let. Can you not hear me anymore? You got me?
Yeah, we got you, Sam.
We got you?
Yeah, you're right, mate. There is a little bit hit and miss. I'm not sure what's going on. Have you got me?
Oh, okay, cool.
No, I think we might have lost Chapo. Oh no, we have got you. Okay. Yeah, I think so. That wouldn't be the first time for me either. I'll have a look at what's going on, and
either way,
just talk way about the night that was, and I'll come back to you.
Okay, I will. Like that. I think that just race 1. It was going really well. Started really well. Pulled ahead. Was able to, play with John and just sort of sit there. I was going for one, so Mikey catching in those last few laps, and went, okay, I'll have to try and make a move here. Didn't do until I guess that accident there. It was sort of an unfortunate one. I think he probably saw us again. John probably checked up more than we expected to, which is why I sort of wobbled a bit as well, because he was quite sort of relatively slow to that corner. So that was unfortunate. We sort of made it back to some degree, but and then race 2 was just a case of trying to get that. Trying to take it easy. We had a great start, and the accident took over. So tried to sort of fuel up and get back into it, but there weren't enough incidents at the front. Pulled back some of it, but yeah, obviously couldn't pull back, 20 seconds, right?
I'm hoping we're good now, boys. Have you got me?
Yeah, we got you, Zach.
Excellent. No, stupid bloody internet, because so for an update for everybody at home, my PC of 5 years is starting to go into meltdown mode. It's off to Harvey Norman for Easter. It's getting dropped off there on probably Saturday after work at this rate. So I'm on the PC, on the laptop, I should say, this week. Running off the 2 monitor setup. Have been running off the wireless on it all bloody week, and now, because Queensland, Stone Age type state, 112 years behind civilization, the Wi-Fi is atrocious. It's like fourth world technology, and it decides to let us down. So therefore, thankfully, the cable, which runs to the router, is still stuck into the PC. Just rip that out, put it in the laptop. Hopefully, no more troubles for the rest of the night. Fair dinkum, my goodness gracious me. It's one of those weeks where it's just bound to test me. So if I do get caught swearing on air at some point, at least you'll be warned, ladies and gentlemen. Chapo, just to finish off on this one, before we take a break and go to GT4, Toyota 86s, they're a great car. They've thrown up some great racing. Well done on the calendar you put together. Produced not just great racing week in, week out, but also a good championship fight. If we said the Toyota's back, it'll be, I dare say, the same format. What would you like to see in terms of new tracks? What would you keep? What would you chuck? And how are you enjoying familiarising yourself with the wet weather system?
Yeah, I'll probably go for, I guess, a similar style of tracks. We got some good ones in this season. A lot of the season I actually followed officials for either the SimLab or the sort of 86 challenge. So you sort of had, were able to do a bit of crack and that sort of thing as well if you decided to. But yeah, I mean, I would have to have a look through and see what's there. I can't release any sort of calendar info yet, but it might be something to do with it next season. But I do think following at least someone does seem to work to a degree. Weather system, like, I'm still getting there. The drive, I'm still very much getting the hang of it. And tracks like actually Sandown, I found quite tricky. I did a little bit of practice in the wet, and that was quite hard because there's not really much of an offline for you to take in a lot of these corners, and so there's a trickiness there, and obviously got walls too. So, but yeah, hopefully we set them back because it's a lot of fun. The racing's really good.
Indeed it is. And what's on now for the rest of the week for you? Are you having a steering GT4? And then, of course, tomorrow night we've got the Vs, and we're very much looking forward to the finale there from the island.
Yes, we are. I'm actually jumping in a sort of Formula Light race.
Okay. Yep.
So we'll see how that goes. But GT4, which we not in, but might come back to it. And yes, of course, Phillip Island in the Vs, that'll be brilliant. Hopefully we get mad numbers, because that will be great. Where are the Porsches as well, is that?
Porsches are in Interlargos.
Do we know?
So three races there tomorrow night for the Porsches.
Oh, brilliant circuit. Yeah, so that'll be good racing as well. Yeah, good stuff. So I might jump in the race trial booth for that one. We'll see how we go and see if someone else is on. But if not, we'll jump into the Super Sprint. But there's that, and then we quiet down for a little bit. We've got sort of the V's Nationals on Monday finale for the Motorsport Australia one. So that was good. That's Sukuba, which is going to be a bit also.
All right, mate, very nicely done. Thank you for that. Let's at this point in time, because clearly there's some sort of lag delay between Chapo and I at the moment. It's my end, apparently. So we're going to take a break at this point. I'm going to try and reboot this thing, kick it in the guts, or throw it in the bin. We'll take a break. We'll come back. This is Wednesday Night Motorsport on the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, across Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. It's night 3 of week 10, grand final week for Turn 1. And when we come back, we will go from Toyotas at Sandown to GT4s from Interlargos, and a 60-minute race ahead of us there to crown a champion. Will it be T. Lavis or C. Whitaker? We'll find out shortly. Stay with us on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Nice to have you company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed all around the world on the platforms of Gentleman Sim Racing Club. The continuation of Wednesday Night Motorsport, night 3 of week 10, grand final week, term 1 of the season. And a reminder right off the top that term 2, of course, gets underway on Monday, the 15th of April. A little bit of news regarding that. And Wednesday night's a little bit later on in the broadcast. If we're allowed to share it tonight, we will. But I think if you like your racing, I think you're going to be happy with the news that we'll be able to share there in due course. Greg Heaney's still here, Daniel Friasar as well. And we worked out, thanks very much for the heart palpitations, we worked out that the problem was actually not my end, it was bloody Chaco's. He sent himself out. And there's the lay of the land. The Interlargos circuit in Brazil, one of the great circuits in world motorsport. Always work the early alarm when Formula One goes racing around here. And they get to do it twice this year because they've got the sprint race on the Sunday morning and the Grand Prix on the Monday morning. 10 past 9 server time, 24 degrees the ambient, 29 on track, and 12 km/h winds, clear, perfectly fine conditions and 66% humidity. As I say, 4.309 kilometres around this course and anti-clockwise the direction. There's the equation. 39 points the advantage, Trent Lavis to Chris Whitaker. Then Jeff Adams on 354. Forget about everybody else. They're just here battling for the minors, really. Adam Lavis, Paul Wood, Brendan Whitaker, John Merritt, David Christensen, Rich King and Dale Sharp. As far as tonight's field is concerned, it's 30 deep. It's 31, 32 deep. Luke Turner may line up on the grid, he may not. Matt Schmidtke's in pit lane, he may join us on the grid. If not, we've got 30 cars that have set times in this qualifying session. 1 minute 39.181, the benchmark at the moment for Trent Lavis. 0.08 back to the great man John Merritt. Then Brendan Whitaker and Gary Cousins has wedged himself in. Chris Whitaker and Glenn Liddell, Adam Lavis, Jared Knight, Adam Burhop and Jeff Adams making up the top 10. It used to be a ritual to have an entree GT4, a main course GT3 on a Monday night. Now GT4 so popular that it has quite rightly earned its own primetime slot here on Wednesday Night Motorsport. And have a look at that, ladies and gentlemen. 4 manufacturers in the top 4, 5 in the top 6. And 5 in the top 12, my apologies. Mercedes 1, 3 and 5, Aston, Porsche, McLaren 2, 4 and 6, and then the first of the bimmers, Sam Stride down there in 12th place. 5 manufacturers in GT4. We grew up watching the evolution of GT4 on this platform. It was originally just a show for Porsches and BMWs, but slowly the Aston, the Mercedes, the McLaren joined the party, joined the fray, and GT Racing, the overall product, is the beneficiary for is all the better for it. Now, we'll tick over to the race server in just a moment. Cars will line up on the grid for a roll and start here. Have a look at that. Nice and cloudy overhead now. No rain, of course, because as we know, this is GT4. They haven't been blessed with the wet weather component of the Tempest weather system just yet. It'll be rolled out slowly and gradually, and updates to come on iRacing, and we cannot wait for it to arrive here in GT4. Trent Lavis and John Merritt the front row, Brendan Whitaker, Gary Cousins the second, Chris Whitaker, Glenn Liddell the third, Adam Lavis, Jared Knight the fourth, Adam Burhop and Jeff Adams from row 5. Row 6. Have a look at that. Adam Proctor and Sam Stride. Row 7, Ross Green, Michael Hammond, Anthony Adshead and Richard King from 8, Paul Wood and Eduardo Zamora from 9, Kurt Chapman and Dale Sharp from 10. From 11, it's going to be David Christensen and Neil de Bruin. From 12, it's Brett Bradbury and Robert McGrath. From 13, Greg Colgan and Tony Baker. 14, Kurt Nommensen and Gary Wellman. 15, Aaron Bryan and Michael Lane. Matt Schmidtke yet to join the grid, and Luke Turner maybe the 16th row. I don't think we're going to see either one of those two men. However, this is a fight between two men that have history. Trent Lavis, Chris Whitaker. We can't wait to see how they fare. Whitaker starting from 5th. Lavis from the pole. It's Merck v Merck for the title. Greg Heaney, welcome once again to you. Familiar with GT3? Let me ask you: have you had a dabble in GT4 all over the course of time?
I have had a bit of a dabble in the GT4. Partial to McLaren. If I could turn off the air conditioner, I'd probably go a little bit faster because you can't turn it off.
No, that's right. Exactly. No. iRacing's not that sophisticated just yet. not at all. Racing around here, mate, the Interlargos circuit lends itself to great racing. We know that. Good overtaking opportunities. The tight technical middle sector is probably a little bit Mickey Mouse in terms of follow the leader that doesn't offer up too much. But the importance around here is keeping it clean, because it is a racetrack in which you do get bitten rather hard if you come unstuck.
Oh yes, most definitely. I mean, the passing opportunities for this course, depending on how fast you are, is really could possibly be few and far between. But you'd be looking at the approach to the centre S, so down front straight to turn 1, down to turn 4, I think it is, or turn 3 after the second straight. But through the centre section, through sector 2, I think you'd be more looking towards the Mercs and the Astons to basically bail up whatever's in front of them, being that they're absolute torque monsters. So.
Right, we are ready to rock and roll. It is Wednesday night motorsport on the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and Trent Lavis spoke to us very briefly before the race got underway here. Hang on. Let's just have a look here. Luke Turner and Matt Schmidtke are not taking the start. I was a little bit thrown off by the gap in the field there, but that's just Chris Whitaker and Brendan Whitaker more specifically, ranging up on the inside to join Gary Cousins, Chris Whitaker behind him. This is a fight between two men, Trent Lavis and Chris Whitaker, but we expect John Merritt to be the spanner in the works here, and we know that he will be tough to go with tonight, as per what Trent was saying to us whilst we were off air in the intermission between the Toyotas and GT4. He said that Aston's got some poke. Good luck going with him. But Trent Lavis still found a way to get the pole. Let's wait and see. He's got control of the field as safety car pulls off the pit lane. We're ready to fire the grand finale of GT4 in Turn 1 of 2024 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. They're gone! Great start, Merritt up on the outside. 3 and 4 wide further back in the pack as they sort themselves out. Look for clear real estate. Trouble! 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 The mid-pack. Evasive action taken. A lot of people getting on the anchors, but unfortunately, both Michael Hammond and Adam Burhoff are plummeting down the order. Burhoff's gone. And there's been more trouble through turn 2 and 3 as well. Lavis leads the field to turn 4. Merritt leaves the door open. Whitaker's not close enough to get up the inside. Chris, the early beneficiary, getting by Gary Cousins up into 4th. And Glenn Cedar Riddell slots into the top 6. Jared Knight all over him like a cheap suit at the moment, trying to get up the outside. Sam Stride, Jeff Adams, then Adam Proctor. Big gaps between the top 9 and the rest of the field now. They put about a second and a half between them with that incident as Russ Green finds himself off the road at the moment. Tony Baker's on the tow rope. A lot to pick apart there with that early race incident. And it just looked looming. It looked imminent because the way in which they spanned out across the main straight, it was always going to tighten up as they got to turn 1. Oh dear, 5 into 2 does not go, as they say. As they head across the start-finish line, 1 lap in the books and an hour to come of GT3 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim GT4, I should say, on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Jared Knight, we ride on board with him in 7th place. Championship Wednesday, Trent Lavis, the early leader in Brazil.
Yeah,
Hard to try and make sense of all of that, Daniel.
Yeah, it was an interesting start. I was just waiting to see if anybody was going to make a move as we resolve that first lap, but it looks like everyone is just going to follow in a train because we still have a good 58 minutes to go in this race. So let's go back to that start, see if we can analyze what exactly happened at the front there. Now, we go back, we'll go on with a drone shot. That's actually a little too early. So let's have a look here. Oh, this is the problem with safety car starts. We've got to try and find where everyone's. So here comes everybody up the lane. We'll jump on with a drone shot and see if we can catch it from here. So everybody's lining up, going to the back straight, ready to start the race. Of course, that is Trent Lavis that will pull the trigger as he is leading this pack. And it seems as though just slightly behind, as you said, there were 5 cars that tried to get together. There were 3 in specific. I think it was up this close. We'll have a look. You can see the safety car come in there. So just take a look at the middle of the screen.
Give it about 10 seconds. And Jared Knight, have a look at him go. Went up to the outside, so it's happened behind Knight.
Right there. It's those 3 in the middle there. There's a touch there to the Aston Martin.
Oh, how
And
lucky
then,
was
yeah.
Jared Knight. And that was Adam Lavis that got turned and shunted.
Yeah, and then there was a bunch of cars behind that ended up getting caught out. So I believe David Christensen was also in this. This is on board with him. And yeah, so he ended up getting caught up in all that as well.
And it just became a logjam. Everyone had to back up and pull up. Everyone almost came to a grinding halt. It may as well have been a standing start. Look at it. But in saying that, everybody incredibly smart and patient and aware to get on the anchors and not make that a catastrophic incident that ruined their night before it began.
That's right. And then Kurt Chapman sort of gets sideswiped there through the center S. Oh, and then gets collected
1, 2, 3
by the other Aston Martin. So unfortunate there. And then the last one we had.
Yata.
Looks like Tony Baker came out of the pits and then something's gone wrong there. He stopped on the side of the track.
So, just to pick all that apart, Baker has got back going. He's 2 minutes and 20 seconds. He was stationary for on pit road, but he's now at least 2 laps down. Actually, that'll correct itself. That'll only be 1 lap down next time by. But actually, I don't know. It might actually be 2 laps down for Tony. We'll wait and see. But nevertheless, 1 lap down rules you out this early into the piece of a 60-minute race. You're not going to get that lap back. In the meantime, let's continue on. Trent Lavis, John Merritt, Brendan Whitaker, Chris Whitaker, the top 4. And it's a bridge too far for Chris if he stays there, because he's got to beat Trent and beat him handsomely tonight to overturn the result. Trent Lavis, multiple champion in various disciplines in this club on these platforms. Now with a real chance of adding GT4 again to the mantelpiece. Adam Burhop cops a 5-second penalty for passing before the control line with Adam Lavis, so he was just a bit too eager to get on the gas and get going. Let's go back to Gonzalo here. In behind Gary Cousins, 5th and 6th at the moment. They've got Jared Knight for company as well. It's Porsche, it's McLaren, it's Mercedes. The first of the bin is up 4 spots already, Sam Stride. In fact, there have been some beneficiaries here early in the piece with all that garbage going on in the first 3 corners. Stride up 4 spots, Zamora up 7, Sharp up 8, and De Bruin up 6. All except De Bruin running BMWs. Gary Warren also in a BMW up 9 spots, if you don't mind. And we are riding with Gonzalo Riddell on the ragged edge. And yes, it has been corrected for Tony Baker. He is only down 1 lap, but still, he's a bloody long way back from there. Still, of the 30 cars that started, we've still got 30 running. Greg Coughlin just running off the road now as well. And Trent Lavis leads this one, the only one marginally in the 39s at the moment, 1 at 39.996 last time by the line. John Merritt keeping him honest and Brendan Whitaker going with them, so too Chris Whitaker. Racing 4 at the front, racing 3 behind them, 1.5 seconds to buffer at the moment, and a 5-second penalty for Sam Stride before passing before the control line. Geez, jump starts left, right and centre. Good luck to race control sorting that one out. I mean, fancy having to adjudicate on that. You would have thought we'd know the rules of racing by now, but nevertheless, we're right on board with Chris Whitaker. Is he going to try and find a way by Brendan, or is he happy to just poke along and push Brendan with him?
Yeah, a little bit of a bump drive there.
Yeah, exactly. Happy to push Brendan along, but look at that gap. They'd be concerned about that gap opening up with John Merritt, and if Brendan can't keep up the pace, Chris is going to have to push his way by. He did so last time around 1:39.804, fastest lap of the race. So he's lowered Lavis's benchmark, and he's 2/10 quicker than Lavis at the moment on the fastest lap front. But that's the problem. Actually, 0.192, but who's counting? that's the problem. Lavis has got the clear real estate. Lavis holds sway with track position. Whittaker has all the work ahead of him uphill. So, early doors, but it's looking good so far for Trent Lavis. On lap 5, the 8-minute mark has come and gone. We are racing towards the first round of pit stops, and we expect, I would say, 2 splash and dash jobs tonight through pit lane in a 60-minute race, and we want everybody to stick around post-race as well. We will catch up with the champion-elect, and also, of course, anyone else that wants to stop by for a chat post-race here. Some of our GT3 regulars doubling up, running GT4. Good to see Adam Burhop back. Where's Graham Stewart when you need him with some banter? No doubt he'll be tuning in at some point. We'll get some banter from him from the couch. At home, wherever you are tuning in tonight, it's nice to have clear air. Tomorrow night we're competing up against the NRL and the AFL when we bring the Formula V and the Porsches from this venue. Formula V, of course, from the island. But tonight we'll enjoy the clear air of having no live sport to compete up against. There's also an NBL Grand Final game tomorrow night as well. The Tasmania Jack Jumpers hosting it. Game 4, they're up 2-1. They can secure the title tomorrow night with a race win. Adam Lavis, after getting caught up and crunched up early, gets down on the inside of Dale Sharp and moves up to 12. It's this multi-class racing that we've come to enjoy, Greg Heaney. We now see it in the Enduros. It used to be way back in the early days of GT3 and GT4 on the same racetrack. But one of the great aspects of watching GT4 thrive on their own has been, I guess, the great racing that it does provide. It can often get lost when it's not its own class, when it's out there on the racetrack sharing the track with GT3, and I'm talking real world and sim world and other classes. But watching it as a standalone class, bringing these numbers and producing this level of racing, it's been the big winner of some format changes that we've had here in recent times, and some scheduling changes as well, watching these guys in a prime time slot.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, the GT4s are a good car to drive. They're very much a driver's car because you don't have all the electronic aids that you have in the GT3s. Having done a few multi-class races myself, if you are in the slower car, it's almost just trying to dodge the fast cars whilst you're trying to race against the other guys within your class for however long the race is. So, but you're right, Zach. The GT4s would get just gobbled up and their race would get lost in amongst the GT3s if it was still run as a multi-class time slot. So.
And so, yeah, and conversely as well, I mean, the other thing about this as well, and you can both chime in here, Daniel, having run in GT3 as well, as we have a look at Sam Stride under the pump here, he's got Jeff Adams and Adam Proctor for company. One of the great things about GT4 and GT3 specifically, compared to, I mean, we have so many one-make formulas on our broadcast platforms. Formula V, Toyota 86s, and also the Porsches. But one of the great aspects here is that we've got such great manufacturer diversity, different tracks, different horses for courses. Not the BMW is not going to be a car to have at every racetrack we go to, and there's a big onus therefore on picking a car that's going to delicately balance you well across the course of a 10-week season, and then the rest is up to the driver, and there's a lot to be said for driver skill here as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the other thing that comes with multi-manufacturers is you do have to be a little bit delicate with what's called BOP, or balance of power, because obviously every car is not the same. Some might have advantages, some might not, and you have to try your best in order to bring those advantages to a neutral point. We do have, I believe, some BOP in effect with the GT4s, and that'll get tweaked over time based on lap times that we see and things like that. But all in all, it seems a pretty fair field. Anyone's got a chance of winning. Trent's done the most of it in that Mercedes, and it does seem as though the Mercedes is the current favourite based on what we're seeing, but that could change, especially when iRacing do patches, because iRacing will do their own balances in the background, and they might tweak some settings for particular cars, and then all of a sudden that becomes in favour, and then you might see a big change coming up in the next season. So yes, as you said, one make series, that tends to take away the dynamicism, if that is a word, from it, and then it really is just about who is the fastest in that car. But then, like as you touched on, once you start bringing in multiple manufacturers and different chassis, different shells, it just becomes another thing, another addition to the racing.
Who's going to win the season? Pete Matson asking the question. Hello, Pete. Hope you're well, mates. Now, oh, geez. Money says Lavis at the moment, and something has to go catastrophically wrong for him to lose it, and Whittaker to win it at this point. Down the main straight again. 13.5 minutes gone. Now, there will be an overlap here in... there will be the potential to vary up the strategy tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 26 degrees ambient, 33 on track at the moment, nearly 34. We're at the 13.5 minute mark. We're in the fuel window if you want to stop now, and then run long in the second stint and run long in the third stint, or run long in the second stint and shorten the third stint, whatever you want to, however you want to play it. But as opposed to a couple of other races we've had, trouble. Jeez. Russ Green nearly getting into the side, if you don't mind. And still there. Whoa, Robert McGrath getting the rough end of the stick there, and Anthony Adshead still into it. Gone! Oh, there was more
contact and Adshead nearly met the Armco. McGrath holding on for dear life. But there's something to be said. A 15-second penalty for Brett Bradbury for passing under yellow with David Christensen on lap 1 as well. So Brett Bradbury's wearing the wrap of race controls adjudications here, and casting a fine eye over the early stages of proceedings. Now, just go back and reiterate the point. It's interesting having a look at this and answering what Pete Nassim was asking with regards to Trent Lavis and Chris Whittaker. At the moment, T. Lavis is doing everything right. Even if he was to slip up and drop down the order, as long as he finishes relatively in position in comparison to where CW does, I think he'll be okay. DNF would make him start to feel a little bit nervous. But for the most part, yes, it's Lavis with one hand on the title at the moment, and not much this guy here can do about it, I'm sorry. So we'll hear from him post-race. He'll be a good sport about it, no doubt. Still 5 different manufacturers in the top 10 at the moment. GT4, Wednesday night motorsport. A 60-minute race. I was talking about pit strategy before everything started to unfold there, and I'm losing train of thought here, folks. Sorry for that. 60-minute race. In some of our races, there's not too much in the way of variance or ability to be variable with your strategy play. It's everybody's running the same thing. Here, you will have the potential to stop early, run a long stint, stop late, run a short stint, run a long stint, run a long stint, run a long stint, run a short stint. So you will see a little bit of variance in strategy play in the second half of this race. We look forward to seeing who the winners and losers of that are already. Michael Hammond pitting early, Greg Coghlan pitting early, right, 6 and 5 respectively. Tony Baker still out there a lap down, but soldiering on. Kurt Chapman picked up a fast repair on the opening lap. He's the only one I'd be worried about at the moment. Him and Tony Baker. Baker already out of contention. Chapman may as well be. They're going to have another invoice to pay. Aaron Bryan just ending up off the road. That gets back on. But Hammond having stopped early, that says something, because the lap speed around here is about that 1 minute 40 marker. So that in its own right is a talking point. 1 minute 40, 3 minutes 25 minutes, 1 minute 40 being the threshold, and we know that times will vary throughout. Even last time around, a 40.2 for Lavis, a 40.5 for Merritt, a 40.1 for Whittaker. So if you're looking at that 4 laps every, what are we saying? 3 laps every 5 minutes. We're looking at 36 laps in 60, but because there's 12 threes are 36 and 12 fives are 60. But we're looking at potentially one less than that.
depending upon the time lost in transit down pit lane. So it'll be 35 or 36 laps. And we won't yet know for a few laps yet how far they can go on this first batch of fuel, running the tank dry. Once we work out the longest you can run, then we'll know our critical laps for the second stint and the run home to the checkered flag. But look at this top four. 2 seconds from Lavis to Merritt, and then Whittaker and Whittaker in close tow of the Echuca Toyota Pulse Tuning Aston Martin. Yes, you heard that correctly. Echuca Toyota Pulse Tuning Aston Martin. Sounds almost as silly as the name of Daniel Ricciardo's team these days, to be honest with you.
Well, luckily, everyone came to their senses.
Might not be too much longer if reports are reading the truth.
Yeah, that's true. But luckily, everybody came to their senses, and even Liberty Media decided to just abbreviate it to RB, which poor Rachel Brooks, that's her name, and has been for quite a while in the paddock, but she'll have to move aside. Just to touch on this point in this front four, so one of the key factors that's going to have to happen here for Chris in order to be able to challenge Trent Lavis at the front is he's got to make sure he doesn't battle too hard with the cars ahead of him. Now, it's a little bit easy to say that with Brendan Whittaker. They're brothers, I'm sure they're in each other's ear, and they've got that strategy. But John Merritt, no relation, so he's the one that they're going to have to try and get past, but they can't spend too much time fighting with him, because what will that mean? That'll mean the lap times come down. And what does that mean? Trent Lavis gets further ahead. Right now, the lap times are fairly similar. 140.3 from Trent Lavis in the last lap, 140.25 from John Merritt, 140.26 from Brendan Whittaker, and a 139.8 from Chris Whittaker. So, plenty to play for. As you said, pit strategies will come into effect. The question will be, can Chris Whittaker maintain a clean race? Can he get enough of an assistance from his brother ahead to try and catch down Trent Lavis? And will Trent Lavis put any foot wrong, or will he drive a perfect race to the end?
Only time will tell.
The gaps have also exploded across the field. You only have a handful of people actually within attack range of anyone else. Everyone other than that is outside that 1 second mark. We're seeing 3 second gaps, 4 second gaps, a 9 second gap back there in P21. That's Brett Bradbury in the Porsche GT4 as Jared Knight comes in for his first pit stop here on the 20-minute mark, lap 13. So let's see if I can load up that information for you guys watching at home. If we have a look at the pit lap information. And it seems as though only 3 cars have done so. That'd be Jared Knight, Mikey Hammond, and Kurt Chapman. Mikey Hammond was involved in an incident with Anthony Adshead earlier on. I'm curious to know whether or not damage had an effect on him coming in to the pit lane, or whether or not he just decided to do an early one, and also race control there. So, and that's actually, speak of the devil, that's the incident there. So Anthony Adshead did redress that, and so,
and understandably,
yeah, no further action.
All right. Winners and losers thus far. Top 3 remain where they started. Chris Whittaker up 1, Gary Cousins down 1. Glenn Cedo remains where he started. Strides up 5, Proctor up 3. 7 for Zamora, 8 for Sharp, 4 for Wood, 7 for De Bruin, 5 for Christensen. So there have been some big movers here early. 5 for Robert McGrath, 6 for Wellman, 7 for Latta. But the problem here is those that have lost time are those that have either are running the incident or are on an alternate strategy that put it early. So Ryan's up 1, down in 28th position. We know that Baker is down a lap. Kurt Nomanson has just parked up and is retired from the race as well. So Nomanson's the first retirement. We're down to 29, and Pete Matson's right. Tactical. It is tactical. We know how this form of racing rolls. Greg Heaney, you know yourself from your GT3 experience. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Sam Stride's been relegated here. Sam Stride back down the inside. Under the pump here at the moment. Gary Cousins and Dale Sharp come to pit lane. Sam Stride holding on to 6 for dear life at the moment with Adam Proctor, putting him under serious pressure as they came down the main straight. Proctor unable to find a way by in the McLaren just yet. Stride holds on to 6 for now. We know how this caper works, don't we, Greg? We've seen it so many times before in Porsche racing on a Thursday night as a one-make example, in GT3 on a Monday night as a multi-manufacturer example. And here's the replay just to show you how hairy it got and how close it got, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa, there's nothing in that. If it's a longer race, 60 or 90 minutes, most of these guys seem really content to just go through the motions, to put on a processional, for lack of better words, style show in the early stages, follow the leader, etc. and so forth, until such time as you get to that second round of pit stops, and then you pull the trigger and go for it. In the rare instance, if you realise that the car you're following is not joining the train and staying attached to it, as Trent Lavis, John Merritt, Chris and Brendan Whitaker all dive for pit lane at the end of lap 14. So there's your threshold, ladies and gentlemen, 14 laps. As I said earlier, I reckon we're going 35 or 36. 14 the threshold, which means that 22 is now going to be the critical lap number in which you can stop and get home by our numbers. So, Brendan overshot. Brendan overshot. Brendan's going to lose some time there. That's going to work for in Chris's benefit here, in his favour. I'm coming back to you in a moment, Greg. We'll get some thoughts on that as we watch pretty much the entire field that hasn't yet stopped. 16 cars on pit road at the moment. John Merritt goes for the short fuel. John Merritt goes for 3.5 seconds less fuel. And John Merritt goes for clear air and real estate. John's gone for the undercut, and it's worked. Now, he will come into the lane before the rest of the guys do. And now we need to see how that is going to balance out throughout the remainder of this race. But until you get to that strategic point, that tactical point where you've got to try and do something different to benefit yourself, like what John's just done there, and it's a really good bit of timing on his part that we're talking about this as it happens. If you're following the train and you're driving along with someone that's not holding the speed that you want to, and you can notice the leader's getting away, it's imperative that you pull out all stops to try and get past them and latch back onto the train. Otherwise, forget about it. Apart from that, Greg, very rarely do we see too much on-track, wheel-to-wheel, elbow-to-elbow racing in the first two stints here.
Well, yeah, most definitely. I mean, it really comes down to the speed of the drivers. I mean, we saw in the GT86s, the guys were going in at hammer and tong for the majority share of the race, even with the stop that they needed to do. They would, I mean, it could have also been the nature of the circuit. Here, yeah, you've got a couple of little battle packs around, and as we just saw before, they're going door handle to door handle down the front straight. I mean, it is the last round, and obviously there is only a couple of contenders for the win for tonight, but obviously everybody else still wants to play for it, so they're all going pretty hard.
Indeed. Adam Proctor in 10th place at the moment, sitting there, and just ahead of him is Adam Lavis. Behind him, Eduardo Zamora, then Dale Sharp, Jeff Adams, and Paul Wood. And there's a drive-through penalty coming the way of Adam Burhop for a contact on Gary Wellman on lap 7. I'm looking forward to catching up with Race Control, but they've been too busy reviewing the tape so far. We haven't heard from them in the first 26 minutes here. By gee, that's gone by quickly. 26 minutes. Fair dinkum. That turn around twice, blink once, and it's gone.
And I'll just point out something that I heard, which I thought was really fascinating. So obviously the Sebring 12 hour was just held. And of course before that was the Rolex 24, and John Hindorf mentioned that the nickname for the replay team, they call themselves the Tape Apes, and I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, no, I do like that. Although that being said, it's been a long while since tape has been.
Yes.
Yes. Oh dear, how good. For those of you in progressive and civilised states, the only thing we're really competing up against of any sporting significance is the front bar on Channel 7. And I'm just having a look at their Instagram. They are taking the mickey out of Collingwood at the moment, none from 3. And could be none from 4 tomorrow night, taking on the lines up here at the Gabba. And that in itself will be a really good contest on the screen to 7. We'll have live updates for you during our coverage of Formula V and Porsches. Have a look at this in the meantime. Richard King all over the back of Paul Wood on the way up the hill once more. Adam Burhoff's 9 seconds back, but with that drive-through, he's about to plummet again. It's interesting as well when we look at news in the last 24 hours. Very happy to see the summer cricket schedule for next summer already released and confirmed. Very supportive with a couple of the scheduling ideas put forward by Cricket Australia. Just reeks of stupidity, but I'll get to that at a later point in time as we get closer to the summer. In the meantime, let's go on board with Richard King and listen to the Aston Martin hard at work here as he chases Paul Wood in the BMW. So at the moment, it's a BMW Aston Logchamp, 10th through 14th, and then 5 Mercs, 15th through 19th, and a Porsche in 20th. 2 McLarens inside the top 10 at the moment, an Aston, 3 Mercs, 4 Mercs make it. So 2 McLarens, 2 BMWs, a Porsche and an Aston. So Mercedes with dominance, the ascendancy in the top 10 right now. Adam Burhoff's just lost a spot there, I think it might have been. Did see a name plummet down the order. Yep, there he goes, losing out to Richard King and Russ Green. So Adam Burhoff down to 16th. We continue to ride on board with King. Mav and Hammond have moved up from lap 1 catastrophe. Yes, they have, Pete. Hammond up to 7th, Lavis up to 8th. And Lavis dragging this train along at the moment. Richard King in 14th. The last member of that train, really. Dale Sharp only a second off, getting back on the train of Lavis, Proctor and Zamora. So it could be as much as a 7-car train in just a few moments. And Merritt leads by 2.9 to Lavis. And then Whittaker's 5 seconds further back. He's got a second and a half on Brendan, and all that's in that missing of the box there on Brendan's part. Gary Cousins a second behind him, 5 seconds back to Cito, then 7.5 to Michael, who's got a second and 3/4 up his sleeve back to Adam Lavis. Have a look at this. This is Adam Burhoff coming to pit lane to serve his drive-through. So that's disappointing for Adam Burhoff, because that takes him right out of contention now, I would imagine. Anyway, them's the breaks, as they say. So John Merritt, the old experienced hand of racing, as we drop down to David Christensen in 17th place, Daniel.
Yeah, just having a look at the lap times there from the front of the field. So obviously John Merritt, having less fuel in the car, seems to be doing just a little bit better. 140.21 the last time round. Trent Lavis with a 140.6. Chris Whittaker and Brendan Whittaker both with a 140.52 and a 40.53. So they're matching each other's pace relatively well. John Merritt, of course, is 2.7 seconds down the road, so he's got a little bit of a buffer, but he did pit faster, which means he will have to fill up more so than the cars behind, at least on the second stop. We still have half the race to go. We just ticked over that 30-minute mark, and as it stands, Trent Lavis will still take it, but plenty of race to go, and we know just how fast and furious the Whittakers can be. So if they, or at least Chris in specific, if he can manage to bring that gap down from 6 seconds closer to the 2-second, 1-second mark, we'll have a proper fight on our hands to the end.
Indeed we will. It's David Christensen in 17th spot at the moment. We go back to Jeff Adams in 12th. I'm just trying to remember if I... No, I didn't misspeak. I might have just mucked up the numbers. 1 Aston, 1 Porsche, 4 Mercs, 2 McLarens and 2 Bimmers in the top 10. If I didn't get that right first time round, apologies. So lap 19, past half race distance now, and John Merritt bringing the field back round to the line at the end of lap 19. But the battle is, and quite rightly, our focus, our eyes are all eyes on this battle down here for 10th. Eduardo Zamora in 10th, holding off Dale Sharp, Jeff Adams, Paul Wood and Richard King. 5-car fight. 3 BMWs, 2 Astons. I love the BMWs. I'm a huge fan of the Bimmers, but they're just not the right car for this circuit, it would seem. Having the best place in 7th at the moment. And I mean, there are a few of them in the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Gary Wellman, 6 with Michael Latta, 7 with Sam Stride. Stride's been on pit road. Now, we missed that. Sam Stride's on pit road has been for 8 3/4 minutes, or 8.5 minutes, sorry. Adam Burhoff's back on pit road and has been for 43 seconds now. So even though he's came through for his drive-through, he's back on pit road again. And Jared Knight has been on pit road for 6 1/4 minutes. So something's gone untoward, unruly for those guys to be that on pit road for that length of time. And we'll try and get to the bottom of it. Kurt Nomenson is the only retirement. One of 2 retirements thus far, Rough Green being the other one. And Michael Latter's got back out on the racetrack. Tony Baker's got back out on the racetrack after coming in on lap 15 for his second stop. So it's all happening out there at the moment. Both on the racetrack and in the pit lane as well. And
very good move by
getting on by. As I'm looking at all the data and analytical stuff, Kingy made a good move to get by on the inside of Paul Wood. So Jeff Adams and Dale Sharp still trail Eduardo Zamora. Kingham would have swapped around, and that was very good racecraft from King diving down the inside. Just probably not where they'd want to be, Greg Heaney, in terms of the running order, but they're having a good scrap recovery.
Well, yeah, most definitely. I mean, as mentioned earlier, some of these guys I've raced against in the GT3s, and I mean, particularly Paul Woods, I don't know what it is. I always seem to get stuck with around him somewhere on the track. Him and I have gone door handle to door handle in GT3s, which are a hell of a lot faster than these things. He'll race you as hard as he possibly can for as long as he possibly can. Either he may make an error, or whoever he's racing will make an error, or it'll just end up coming out in the wash.
Oh, that went wide.
Off goes Dale Sharp.
It's going to cost him.
Wide and he's dropped a spot. He might drop 2 yet. His teammate Paul Wood's there with all the ascendancy. It'll be a drag race between Wood and Sharp down the main straight. Sharp remains high. And actually, he's got some good poke there. He's got a good run. Right, second round of pit stops, boys. They've started already. Michael Hammond on pit lane at the end of lap 20. The start of lap 21 for Michael Hammond. The pit stop to potentially get into the checkered flag. Jared Knight's parked up. He's done for the night. Sam Strider's also conceded defeat and parked up as well. Adam Burhoff's still sitting on pit lane, but he won't want to sit there for too much longer, or otherwise he's going to run the risk of not completing 75% race distance anyway, so it won't matter. But bad luck to those gentlemen. Russ Green, Jared Knight, Sam Stride, all out of the race in the last short while. And Kurt Nomenson, the first retirement as well. Tony Baker, the beneficiary of that, up to 25th. Greg Coughlin up to 23rd. Michael Ladder up to 24th. And 4 cars out, 1 in stripe on pit road. Brett Bradbury's got by Robert McGraw. Oh no, Brett Bradbury's gone off the road. Robert McGrath got by Brett Bradbury. Michael Hammond back out on the racetrack as well. He in that 16th place. But Michael, unlike the 15 ahead of him, happy to go to the checkered flag. Good to go to the checkered flag, we do believe. Jared Knight reporting that he's had a hardware failure. The mechanical issues at the Sim World striking again, unfortunately, for Knighty. Hoping for better luck tomorrow night when he's back here at this venue in the Porsche. Oh boy, how good.
So just look at the gaps at the front there. They have stayed consistent this entire stint. 2.7 to Trent Lavis from P1, 6.9 for Chris Whitaker there in P3. Brendan Whitaker has slightly dropped back, but not too much, only 1.3 behind his brother there in P4, and Gary Cousins has managed to bring it under that 1 second gap. So if he can try and get more effectiveness out of that draft, he might be on for an overtake on Brendan there. Time will tell as we hit the 36 or 37 towards the 37-minute mark. And it's Richard King around the side. He's done well to keep that straight though.
That did very well. That did very well. As we've said, this is Pete Natson just reporting that Hammond's going to have to stop again. That's unfortunate for Mikey. Everyone got their 14 laps in the first run, but yeah, can you stretch it any more than that? You're going to have to get at least 15, maybe 16 out of that stint. That's a good point from Pete. That'll be frustrating for Mikey. Nighty just being brutally honest with us. He's never had a good run like in the Porsches all that much. All right, so, except for last week, of course. The Duke of Toyota's John Merritt leads the way. 2.7 to Trent Lavis, maintaining that buffer as per the difference at the end of the first round of pit stops when Merritt jumped the queue, and Trent Lavis, C. Whitaker, B. Whitaker, Gary Cousins, Glencito, Adam Lavis, and Adam Proctor, Eduardo Zamora, and Richard King. Have a look at Kingy. Have a look at Kingy. He's the second of the Aston Martins in the order now. So another Aston in the top 10 here. So it's 2 Astons, 4 Mercs, a BMW, 2 McLarens, and a Porsche in the top 10 right now. John Merritt at the front of the train. Trent Lavis has got Chris Whitaker covered off for the moment to the tune of 9 seconds, or 7 seconds between the two, and 9.8 between Merritt and Whitaker. My apologies there, just reading the wrong column. But Whitaker and Lavis, the battles between them, but this guy's got a pretty impressive CV. A GT3 Pro Championship to his name, Downforce Legends, Racer Champions, TCR, 3 Formula V titles. There's not much he hasn't done. He has John Merritt now trying his hand at GT4 as well. They're a great little car. The Astons, he's controlling it beautifully here as they come out of the top corner and across the start-finish line to complete lap 23. And he is on the way home. It's been a marvellous drive thus far from John Merritt, and he's got 21 minutes on the clock. The lap time's consistent in the 140s. He's got, oh, jeez. As I've said all along, 512's a 60, right? And the reason 5's important is because you get 3 laps every 5 minutes based on a 1 minute 40 lap time. They cross the line with 21 to go. I just get the feeling that we will still get to 36 laps even with a little bit of overtime applied. And based on those numbers. So keep your eyes on that, because John Merritt, with 21 to go, 12 laps gets you to 59 minutes, plus a pit stop. I don't think the pit lane transit was a minute the last time round, so judging by the timings there, it's about 40 seconds, so they might get back to the line with about 20 seconds on the clock and get a white flag and do a little bit of overtime to get us to 36 laps. And keep your eyes peeled. That could make all the difference in the end, especially for someone like Michael Hammond, who, as Pete said, might have to stop again, having stopped on lap 20. Maybe just a tad itching too soon. Now it's Merritt, it's Lavis, it's Whitaker, it's Cousins, it's Liddell, it's Lavis, it's Proctor, it's King, it's Zamora, the top 10. Zamora, Christensen, De Bruin, all up 8 spots at the moment. Great racing here on a Wednesday night, but the best is yet to come, because this is the point of the race, boys, as you know, Greg, as a 60-minute and 90-minute racer regularly in GT3. This is the point of the race where people can get tripped up as John Merritt comes to pit lane for what should be the pit stop to take him to the checkered flag, as Tony Baker trips up coming out of turn 2 into 3. He didn't make it to 3. 3 is to the left. He went to the right and clouded the wall. Have a look at the vacuum treatment. What the hell was that? Have a look at the vacuum treatment of, Jesus Christ, of the front end of Tony Baker's GT4. Watch it part company with the car here as it hits the tyre wall, and then watch as he reverses. Watch his front end follow. It's almost as though it's got a rope or a vacuum attached to it. Look at it. It actually can't.
It's got bungee cords on it, Jack.
Extraordinary.
That's it. It's a bumper tether.
I can't say it at the moment, but you know what iRacing's taking there, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not talking about white powdery substance either. 41 and a half minutes gone. John Merritt back out in 8th place, but he is well placed. The best of those two have stopped twice. He's the effective race leader at the moment, pending what happens with the stop for Trent Lavis, because that's his real only competition here right now. 29 seconds away from Trent Lavis he is. So everything to play for as we enter the final stages. And this is the point of the race, Greg, as I was saying a moment ago, and incidents like Tony's illustrated it perfectly. fatigue kicks in, wear and tear kicks in, among other factors, and this is the time in the race where if there's a position and a couple of championship points there for the taking, the elbows come out as well.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, at this point, it comes down to, like, this far into the race, GT4s probably not so much, but particularly in GT3s, that if you push too hard too early, you're going to cook your tyres, and particularly in the GT3s, they do take a fair chunk of a beating if you push them too hard, and they do take a fair bit with the new tyre model to cool them down again. And then, yeah, you're right, it comes down to driver fatigue, how hard have you pushed, and if you have a lapse of concentration, and if you're battling with somebody, you're pretty much going to give up the spot straight away.
John Merritt here. Doing well, just sitting behind Adam Lavis here in P6. Trent, Chris and Brendan at the front, electing to go one more lap. So we'll see just how many more laps they can squeeze out of their stint as to whether or not John Merritt's undercut will be the more advantageous. Merritt's going to need a Sprite and double cider when he's finished. I'll tell you what, I could go for one, that's for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Although the Sprite and cider is more for tomorrow night when he wraps up Formula V again, but yeah. Point well taken, Pete Matson. Great to have Sprite and cider on board as a club sponsor right throughout the course of Term 1 in 2024. We've got Trent Lavis, we've got Chris Whitaker, we've got Brendan Whitaker. Oh, here we go! The elbow's out now. John Merritt and Adam Lavis. Have a look at this. And are there team tactics at play here for Adam Lavis to just, defend John Merritt and keep him at bay for a little bit here, just to give Trent that little bit of an advantage when he comes into pit lane with regard to the championship? Maybe. Merritt doesn't factor in the equation of the championship, but Trent certainly does. So that extra couple of points for the win as opposed to second might just put the icing on the cake. And a W always looks better than a second. Merritt going deep to Turn 1 can't get it done.
Team Tactics for sure holding him up.
Team Tactics for sure, according to Luke Turner. Good evening to you, mate. Nice to have you on board.
Might be...
And to be honest, mate, nice to see that you're in the server momentarily, but didn't join us for the race. Here's Merritt now. Merritt, Lavis left the door open just a smidge too far, and John Merritt won't wait for a third invitation. That's a beautiful piece of driving, sliding, squeezing down the inside, slicing his way through, and into 6th position. Top 5 yet to stop. So too Lavis, King, Adams, Christensen, and De Bruin. Everybody else, with the exception of McGrath, Bradbury, Adhead, have yet to stop this second time round. Greg Coughlin, Michael Ladder still out there circulating, so too Aaron Bryan and Tony Baker, but well out of the equation. Adam Burhop's parked up and done. Russ Green, Jared Knight, Sam Stride, Kurt Nomans, and the other retirements. We're on lap 27. We're heading now 28 as Trent Lavis crosses the line. 9 laps to go, pending the pit stop, but I think it's 9 to go at the line because we're not past that minute 40 overlap that we can have for a little bit of overtime. So it looks like we're going 36 laps tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Gary Cousins to pit lane. That was beautiful Racecraft 101 from one of the best in the business, Greg.
Yes, most definitely. Well, you could see that John played the handbook very, very well there. He made Adam move one way, and then obviously Adam's made his move to make his defence, and then John's just gone the other way.
And you can tell that it was a good move because Adam was green with envy there.
Oh, very nice. In comes Korea.
You got more than you?
I've misplaced my drum kit. One moment.
There we go. Copy that. We'll wait for the... Oh, dear.
He's lucky it's after 9:30.
No. It's we've got to be the threshold's 10:30 this time of the season because of the time difference to WA. Only a problem for another couple of weeks. Thank Christ.
I was just going to say for the dad jokes, but that's fine.
Oh yeah, no. I meant for the old course language, etc.
I knew what you were getting at.
Yeah. Because dad jokes do bring out the coarse language in people, the French, after a few too many of them.
Oh, he's going in the pit lane, I think.
Trent Lavis to pit lane to top up to get to the flag. This is where the race is won and lost, ladies and gentlemen. Need to hit the markers. Where does he come out in relation to John Merritt? They're all in. Brendan Whittaker, Chris Whittaker, both on the lane. So too Glencedo Riddell. We've got our eyes peeled on John Merritt, who's coming up around the final sequence of corners now and down the main straight. Merritt to the line. Let's wait and see. Here he comes. And now, Trent Lavis out in 12.82 seconds. Trent Lavis out in 12.82. That could be a race-winning move. And look at this. John Merritt's second at the moment. Lavis is gone. Lavis is up the road. 6 seconds if you don't mind. Trent Lavis leads comfortably at the Interlargos circuit in Brazil. Merritt comes out in second. CW is third and Brendan Whittaker is fourth. Now, has Trent taken enough juice? That was a very long second stop for Merritt. We knew it was going to be slightly longer than everybody around him, but I didn't think he'd lose that much time. He had a 3-second advantage off the pit lane sequence and has come out with a 6-second deficit. Extraordinary from Trent Lavis. The overcut in this particular instance has worked. 4 laps longer on that stint than John Merritt. Chris Whittaker has got out ahead of Brendan Whittaker, 2.15 between the brothers. Then Gary Cousins is 6 seconds down the road. The first battle on track, this one right here. Adam Lavis 7. Adam Proctor, Richard King 8th and 9th, and it could go either way. Look at this. Richard King to the high side. Not going to get it done. Richard King in 9th place. Proctor is 8th, and then Lavis is 7th. This is awesome.
I'm not saying team tactics had a hand in that, but I reckon there might have been a little bit.
But 5 seconds is the gap there, of course, at the front. So Trent Lavis has done well, but as you said, 12.82 on that pit lane in comparison with a, what was that, a 13.6 for Chris Whittaker. And
13.9 for Brendan. Yeah. Look at us in sync. But in saying that as well, Adam's not no slouch of a driver, so I don't think the way in which he was able to keep John Merritt at bay there for half a lap or so was 6 seconds worth of time lost. And so that's really cleverly done from Trent Lavis. The Merc to victory lane potentially tonight. 3 Mercs in the 4, Aston 5. Sorry, Aston second, 1 Aston, 2 Astons in the 10 with Richard King down in 9. A BMW in there, a Porsche, and 2 McLarens. There is also the Mercedes of Adam Lavis. So 4 Mercs, 2 Astons, 2 McLarens, a Porsche, and a BMW. So not much has changed in terms of the running order. Now the pit sequence is done and the field is cleansed and we are racing the checkered flag. We're on lap 30. When Trent Lavis comes back to the line, my mathematics say that it'll be 6 laps to go. It will require about a minute of, a little bit more than a minute of overtime, but 6 laps at the line for T. Lavis. Let's just have a look at this. Noting that the times are around that 1:40 marker. Here he comes, across the start-finish line now. He's good so far. He's doing a little bit of fuel saving. Is he good to get the line? There it is. 30 laps gone, 51.13. So a minute 13 on the clock. After the 60 minutes is about what we're looking at there. 1:39.9 last time around for Trent. And a minute 40, 3:25, 6:40, 8:20, 10. So they'll get back to the line with about 27 seconds on the clock. We'll do about a minute and 13 of overtime there. So there we go. I feel a little bit better about the Zaculator because hasn't fired all week long. But on this particular occasion, I'm fairly confident. Unless something goes drastically wrong for T. Lavis, I think we're going to be okay. Adam Lavis relegated by Adam Proctor. Ooh, contact on the exit. That will work in favour of Richard King, I would suspect. Proctor leads him down the back straight. Lavis right there. King as well. Night 3 of Grand Final week.
Oh,
For
deep on
turn
the inside.
one, Richard King can't get it done on the inside.
Oh, hold on.
On the exit, no. Lavis has the line and the overlap. Got him. Well played.
You can tell that Richard King hasn't watched F1 because if you're Max Verstappen, you can push someone pretty much all the way to the right side fence there.
Exactly.
So yeah, he had all that room. All that room. It's a very close battle between these three. It's the closest one on track, in fact, and that's actually allowed Zamora to catch up as well. So now all of them within the 5/10 mark. So this should be a good fight to the end. Unfortunately, the one that we were hoping would happen at the front doesn't seem to be in effect. 5 seconds or so, Trent Lavis in the lead, and another 5 seconds back to Chris Whitaker in P3. But Merritt is pumping out the times. 39.8 that last lap.
I reckon
Down the main
Adam's going to have a run on Proctor
I
here.
think so. I think you're right. Although King up on the outside has something to say about that. He's hoping to get the toe from Proctor. And Lavis has no slipstream drafting advantage there, but he does have the inside one. That's about the only thing working to his favour at the moment. Have a look at this. Richard King down the inside. Can't get it done through two. But Lavis has the line through 3. They've now got to worry about Eduardo Zamora latching onto this as well. And if they don't go soon enough, it's a McLaren, a Mercedes, an Aston, and a BMW in the 5 here. If they don't go soon enough, Proctor will bolt. He's got a 0.7 second advantage at the moment. Can Lavis reel Proctor in, or will these three be left to fight for 8?
Oh, the BMW sounds angry.
Boy. Yes.
Richard King, left side. Not the fastest line there. He'll try and keep at least one wheel in it, but Adam will have that inside line, which will be to his advantage. Tries to go deeper on the brakes, but doesn't seem to work. Zamora's looking for a chance. Can't quite fit the nose in, though. So for now, it will stay processional. But as you said, Zach, all of this is allowing Proctor to get away. The gap is at 1.1 seconds now. Adam wants that position back, but he knows that he's got the 2 angry cars behind him. He's doing a good job with the defence, though. Give him that. But Richard King seems to be coiling up, ready for a strike. And Zamora as well. Although Zamora is 4/10 back, so that will be harder to do into a place like turn 1. So he'll have to wait for a slight slip up or maybe a bit of extra draft. And Paul Wood now is joining into this fight, almost within the 5/10 mark, but with a couple more battles at the front there, he should be able to tag onto that train.
Four and a half minutes to go. This is the closest battle on the racetrack. In fact, it's the only bugger on the racetrack. There's no other positional fights happening out there at the moment. It is all eyes and all focus on these 4 men. Lavis, King, Zamora and Wood. Proctor's gone, breathing a little bit more comfortably now. On the run to the flag, Trent Lavis will win the championship. Chris Whitaker will run a gallant second. I'm sure he'll have some good banter for us in the post-race show, though. He didn't get to Trent Lavis early enough and couldn't find a wall. Will be his opening line, I would say. Adam Lavis there in 8th spot. Can he hold on? He withstand the pressure of King and Zamora, and now Paul Wood, his teammate as well. And what sort of role will Woodsy play? Up the hill. 3 laps to go for Trent. On the run home. We are going to do about 1.25 minutes of overtime. Last time around 1 minute 40.291 for T. Lavis. Merritt 1 minute 40.047. 1 minute 40.456 for Chris Whitaker. Down the main straight. Have a look at them hugging the pit entry. One of the best racetracks in the world to do that. Up the outside goes King. Deep under brakes. Not too deep, of course. You don't want to run yourself too wide through turn 1. And not be able to pull it up and pull it in line for the run to 2 and 3. But Lavis is doing everything he needs to do to just keep him at bay here. And this is really good driving from the man that was with me in the booth the last 2 nights of Grand Final week, and he'll be on track in Formula B in the Porsches again tomorrow night, looking to wrap up the Open title as well, no doubt, in the Porsches. And I'm not sure
that's a better exit for King.
Play with regards to him and John Merritt in Formula B, but I reckon Merritt's in the prime position.
He's
geez,
forcing the issue.
Forcing the issue indeed. That's you spent too much time with me, Daniel Correa, using that terminology. But you're right. I mean, he was going for a move that wasn't necessarily on, because Lavis just drove straight down the middle of the circuit and said, "I'm not leaving you a car width up the inside. I know that's where you want to go. I'm not going to allow you to do that." He's within his rights to do it. And he did it cleanly and fairly. Light traffic moving out the road. Good. Excellent. Paul Wood in 11th spot. 2 laps to go for Trent Lavis. Everybody else running back to the line now. A little bit of overtime on a Wednesday night on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club.
Okay, no!
Phil King nearly thrown away.
He caught it, though.
Richard King. My apologies. We've been talking about Phil all week. And the other races, Richard King. Wow. Oh, my goodness me. That was nearly a race-ending moment. He caught it, but now everybody's breathing easier in that fight. Paul Wood goes up to 10th, Eduardo Zamora to 9th, and Richard King out of the top 10. And now trying to find his way back in. Oh,
AstroTurf.
AstroTurf. See? AstroTurf grass. The 2 things that will trip you up more than anything else around this circuit. Well picked up by you, Greg Heaney. Still here in the commentary box with us. We're on the penultimate lap. Next time by the line, Trent Lavis will see the white flag and will get us to home.
So that's some respite there for Adam Lavis now, who doesn't have as much pressure behind due to that mistake from King. The gap to Proctor is 1 second, so it's manageable, but Proctor's been driving really, really strong, so I don't see Adam being able to bring that down unless, of course, Proctor makes a mistake in the next lap and a half. Just looking at the mini-map there, Trent Lavis has just crossed the line. Looks like John Merrill will do the same. There's the white flag to the right of your screen. So we are on
in the flag stand for a change. Well done.
So we are on the final lap. Don't do it again. No, he caught it better.
Oh,
he caught it better that time. And Zamora's even expanded there too. Sorry, Greg.
No, you're right. You're right. That was a little bit too much inside curve. It was bouncing across the inside curbing that caused that little incident.
Something that's very easy to do in the later stages of the race because you don't have that grip, so you tend to slide a little bit more than you think you do, and then unfortunately you clip that inside the curve, as you said. So luckily that time round it wasn't such a big hit, but a hit nonetheless. Have a look at this. So Paul Wood now looking to try. Zamora just covers the inside there, nicely done. And Trent Lavis now coming into sector 3.
So T. Lavis had one job to do tonight, and one job only, and that was finish ahead of Chris Whitaker. He's done that. He's going to win the title, another GT4 title for Trent Lavis as he lights it up, coming onto the main straight to take the checkered flag, and he does it by putting the icing on the cake as well. Lavis wins in Brazil, another GT4 title for the Loadsy Racing Oz E-Racers stablemate. Brilliant, critical, strategic in Brazil. And John Merritt second, CW third, second in the title. Brendan Whitaker fourth, and Gary Cousins makes up the top 5. Here come the rest of them. Can Richard King get the run here? I nearly called him Phil again. On Paul Wood as they make their way around. Richard King. Has he got something left? The sting in the tail. Paul Wood's going to keep them at bay because Eduardo Zamora's there. Pulling Wood along photo finish, the 3 of them. Look at that!
Zamora kept it.
Lavis held on for 8. So Cito 6, Proctor 7th. Lavis held on for 8. Zamora edged out Wood by 0.05 of a second, and then 0.14 back to King in 11th. Adams 12th, Sharp 13th, Christensen 14th, and Michael Hammer makes up the 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Aussie racer stablemates in the top 15. Geez, that stable's got big since the last time I checked in with them. Trent Lavis lights it up in celebration. Enjoy the doughy. And all his teammates gather around as well to acknowledge their teammate, pay him his dues and celebrate accordingly. Well done.
Oh, it's a pretty clinical race there from Trent. One change of lead, one. That was John Merritt with a shorter pit stop, but it didn't end up working. At the back end of the race, Trent managed to come out in front with a decent 4.5 second gap there, and it only extended by. John Merritt did bring it down to 3.8 at the finish line, but
have a look at these blokes lining up for class photo. How good. Magnificent. Just enjoy that for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Trent Lavis, John Merritt, Chris Whitaker, Brendan Whitaker, Gary Cousins made up the top 5. Tito, Proctor, Lavis, Zamora, Wood the top 10. Pete Natson highlighting exactly the right point. Great night of racing. King, Adams, Sharp, Christensen and Hammond took us back to 15th. De Bruin, Chapman, Adted, McGrath and Bradbury to 20th. And outside of that, Gary Wellman was a lap down. In fact, everyone from Bradbury was at least a lap down. Bradbury, Wellman, Bryan 22nd, Coughlin 23rd, Baker was 2 laps down, as was Michael Ladder 24th and 25th. Everybody else failed to take the checkered flag. Adam Burhop, one of those retirements, 18 laps down. So to Russ Green and Jared Knight, 20 due to the hardware failure, 22% stride. And 25 laps down for Kurt Nomanson, Schmitke and Turner non-starters and all of that. But the championship goes to Trent Lavis. Greg, you've watched on, you've observed much of that race. What do you enjoy most? Has it whet the appetite to try and get amongst GT4 a little bit more? And who were the winners and losers in your mind?
Oh, look, it was good racing from everybody. Looked like a car park on the Monash Freeway at the start, and which I'm used to seeing a little bit of. But no, good racing from all. Well, good call on the most likely. It's probably some Denchi-like fuel saving from Trent to be able to get it through with the pit stops and so forth like that. But no, it was good racing had by everybody from what I could see, apart from the little incidents at the start and the little spot fires here and there. But no, it's that battle for the minor placings in the top 10 was really good. I did see at the end there's some more privateers there, so I'm probably going to have to get out the checkbook again.
Indeed. We've got Chris Whitaker standing by to join us in the booth. We've got Trent Lavis here as well. This will be good fun, the Chris and Trent show. And it was billed as that as well, gentlemen, because we alerted everybody last night to the fact that it was you two vying for the title. 39 points, just a bridge too far when your rival here, Chris Whitaker, didn't miss a beat tonight, but still second in the championship, and third in the race. Well done.
Kicking off where I left off.
Yes. Yeah,
kicking off where I left off, and not pressing the chat buttons and talk. I'm out of practice, mate. It's been too long since we've been in the booth with you. That's it. But no, mate. I obviously learning how to drive this jigger and a new beast for us. So the early rounds. I think we kicked off with an Enduro Bathurst from memory, so I was hemorrhage points at the start of the season that was just a little bit too much to be able to catch up, but obviously take Matt off to Treno. He's been the class act all season, apart from when I smashed him. Apart from that one round at Long Beach, I'm sure he won't remind us of that one, but he's smoked everyone all season. He's done really well, but it's been a great season, pretty disappointing. But I suppose it's a little bit of that
the broadcast for and it worked out nicely in my schedule. I've got nothing on this weekend. And able to be in terms of commentary. Keyword being commentary. Trent Lavis, to you, stay with me, CW. We're far from done here. There's plenty to discuss and dissect, and hopefully a few more drivers will join us as well. Maybe one Hot Lap Merritt, who's had a pretty good night with 3 races, 3 podiums, including a clean sweep at Sandown in the Toyotas, but which is finally giving the sponsor its rightful dues, actually, because normally he's running the Toyota label on any other manufacturer except Toyota. Trent, well done, mate. That was a masterful performance from you. Only 1 lead change was then the career star highlight of tonight. It was when you picked John Merritt there. Merritt decided, well, 2 lead changes. One when Merritt decided to short fuel first stint, and then obviously the overcut for you second stint. You got the lead back, and it wasn't just a small lead, it was a sizable advantage, mate. You were 6 seconds to the good. You win by nearly 4 seconds. The title sealed by virtue of the fact that you kept CW at bay, but this is just purely, merely icing on the cake, I'd imagine.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Actually, I was just worried that Johnny there could have cracking race pace, but I managed to stave him off that first stint, and I was surprised that I was quick enough. And yeah, that first stop, I actually short fielded a little bit as well, trying to do the same sort of thing. But Johnny obviously took a big swing at it and smoked me out of the pits. But I'm not sure what happened that second stop. Why John had such a long stop there. I was saving a little bit of fuel, but not really that much to get a 6-second lead. So maybe John can fill us in a little bit later on. But no, it's just once I got that lead at the end there, came out of the pits, I'm like, what the heck happened there? And I just sort of cruised to the finish.
But well, we'll let John Merritt fill us in right now, because he's just joined us. Paul Woods here as well. We'll hear from Woodsy shortly on the top 10 finish in the Aussie Races stable. And I'm coming back to Aussie Races on that in just a moment as well, Trent. John Merritt, good evening to you. We'll talk Toyotas a little bit later on if you don't mind, but right now, the question everybody's asking is what happened at the second stop with regards to the fuel drop, mate, because it didn't add up on our numbers that you came out so far in arrears of Trent.
Yeah, g'day, Zach. First, well done, Treno, on the championship, mate. Fantastic effort.
Thanks, legend.
Yeah, no, I did significantly short field, and I think I was a little slow on the in lap, to be honest, Zach, and then took 1.5 laps too much fuel, so it was probably a second there, and then just got a little bit of traffic on the second to out lap. So having worked it out, I think Treno still had me covered. It was probably 2.5 seconds in total, so all credit to him. He had mega pace tonight.
Indeed, he did. And CW, your teammate missed the mark on the first job. He missed the box.
Yeah.
No.
He obviously overshot the pit lane, but if you go the other one with Anthony, and he checked it on the way into the pit, and his begin refuel was ticked, and he pulled up, and he's going, why is it not refueling? It decided to untick itself on his way through pit lane for some reason. So that's a new one. I'm not sure what causes that, but actually happened to Brendan, I think, last round or the round before. So I don't know, something they're doing wrong, obviously. But yeah, it's I mean, it worked in my favour, obviously, with them overshooting that pit stall, but yeah, from there it was basically just watch his 2 out in front and cheer Johnny on to maybe catch Treno and create a bit of a battle out of it. But yeah, no, that bloody bloke in the 69 car just drove away into the sunset from all of us. So and likewise Johnny, too quick for us as well. So we had a car that was reasonable on tyres, just really couldn't get to happen this week. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, full credit to the other boys. They made it work.
How serious were you in pre-race chatter about potentially trying to line Trent up with a wall early on, and that might have been the only thing that stopped you tonight?
Pre-race fit all week.
We're not allowed to do it deliberately, but you know, we'll just go back to Charlotte Roval, and you know, the rest is history.
A door for a door.
T-minus 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. Minus 4 years. Yeah, exactly.
I don't hold grudges, but boys, I do not hold grudges.
No, I don't either. Funny that.
Yeah, you're as bad as anyone, Zachy.
Oh yeah, and I'm lining up more at the moment as we speak.
See if we get the bingo cards sorted out in one paragraph. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, well, no, I won't do that. I might do that tomorrow night, because Thursday night is traditionally when we play bingo. But I'm off LinkedIn at the moment because I spent all Monday night updating my LinkedIn only for them to suggest that I add the chief executive of the Benalla Auto Club only earlier this evening as a contact. No thanks. I want people that I can trust to do things other than run a hot water tap, and even then that'd be a long shot. Let's continue on. And he's just one of many people I'm lining up for a crack at in the next short while just quietly, so stay tuned, it'll be entertaining. Let's continue on here, John. I mean, you were somewhat of a wild card in this caper. The battle was between Trent Lavis and Chris Whitaker. As far as you're concerned, what do you make of the Aston, the GT4? It certainly looked good in qualifying.
Yeah, no, the car was good. I probably played with the rake or ride on a little bit, and the car actually just got better and better at the end. So I think it had a little bit of push, particularly at that final turn, and Trent sort of had me covered coming up the hill onto the front straight that we're watching now earlier in the race. But the car just got better and better. So shame I sort of came out in that bit of traffic. I think it might have been interesting near the end there, but maybe a second or so, and you never know, you can close a second down if you try hard enough.
Exactly. I mean, how often do you dabble in these GT4s, mate? Obviously, you've been busy with Formula B, you've been busy with GT3. We now see you pop up tonight, grab the double in the Toyotas, which we'll get to shortly, and then second in GT4. Is it a car you like? Is it a series that you'd happily contest if there was more time available to you?
Oh, mate, given time, I'll turn up. I've sort of raced whenever I could, and time permitting. So these guys are always great to race with, Trent and Whitaker's X Squared. I thoroughly enjoy the racing. So, mate, assuming like last night, the boys had a server up. If you can get a couple of laps in the night before, it just makes it that much better. Otherwise, you're sort of playing with the unknown, and the competition's a little hot to sort of come in 5 minutes before and hope you get a set together. But certainly fun tonight, and the Aston's good to drive. We might have to bring the junior flamethrower back next season.
Yeah, exactly. Sticking with you, Toyotas, no rain at Sandown, but plenty of action, and you still managed to find your way through to the front of the field, mate, in what was a very competitive showing. There were a lot of people lining up to give you a fight, and in the end, you still managed to find a way to prevail.
Yeah, they're good fun. Probably hoping for a bit of rain to get the practice in. I need it, but no, it was look, it's a good track. I don't think it matters the car. I always enjoy Sandown and Bathurst. They're close to the heart, of course, where we're based. So no, it was sort of pretty clean racing, I think, by and by. I think literally door to door, and some good fun through the night.
Zuno was sorry, no. I'm talking to Pete Matson offline as well as talking to you guys. Talking about earlier with the Toyotas. It's interesting that they've been lined up as one of the cars to be given the full wet weather overhaul straight off the bat. It's going to be certainly very interesting when you do get a wet weather race, John. And secondly, your naming rights sponsor must have been very happy to actually see the Toyota badge on a Toyota for a change.
It just fits. It'd be no good if it was a BRZ. So, although I am a Subaru dealer as well, but I shouldn't probably say that aloud. Yeah, no, it was good. Look, I think obviously the rain will come to those newer cars that have the recent releases first. No doubt the tyre model's probably aligned to it, but I think it'll make for some thoroughly good racing next season.
Indeed. Just stay with me there, John. Coming back to you in a moment to discuss tomorrow night. In the meantime, back to Trent Lavis and Paul Woods here as well. Hey, just quickly, Trent, I think I counted it right, 7 Aussie racer cars in the top 15. You had no Fodiatis, no Baldwin. Who else was missing tonight? You could have almost had the full school photo.
Yeah, most of the boys like to jump into the GT4s because they enjoy throwing these things around because they're probably probably close to a more powerful 8.6, I suppose. It'll be really good, hopefully next season if these things get the wet weather model. So I'm really keen to do some more racing with that when I get a chance. So, but no, I think it was just Nick from memory that was gone today, and Joe. Yeah, it was the only two that were missing. Everyone else, the whole team was pretty much in there. You got Gaza did a good job. Adam did a cracking job as well. Then Dave and the rest of the team. Josh obviously in RC. So, but no, it was good.
In the end, 4 Mercs, an Aston, a Porsche, 2 McLarens and 2 Bimmers in the top 10. Paul Wood, the second of those BMWs in 10th, joins us for a chat now. You blokes, Merritt, Lavis and Whittaker and Heaney, I'm coming back to you in just a moment. In the meantime, Woodsy, nice to have you on board, mate. Well done tonight. Suffice to say, it was hairy in the closing stages. You really had to work for 10th. And had it not been for Richard King slipping up a little bit from home, it may have been 11th. That really invited you back into the fight because with everybody getting the toll on, it was very hard to find a way by anybody in that battle in the closing stages.
Yeah, the Bailey's BMW was a handful tonight. I trying to wring the neck to get every bit of pace out of that car that I could, but it just wasn't there. So I was struggling from start to finish. But yeah, it was one hell of a battle, especially coming to the end. I just didn't know where I was going to be able to make a move because the car wasn't good into the corner and it wasn't good getting out of the corner. And I'm thinking, something's got to go my way here, and yeah, that one little mistake by Richard gave me the spot for the top 10, but yeah, other than that, I don't know whether I would have got them. Definitely got on the back. I would have liked to have got there probably a couple laps earlier, would have given me a bit more time to assess the situation, but I sort of ended up in the middle of it, both trying to defend and attack at the same time, and yeah, I got a little bit of breathing space, which allowed me to get on the back of Zamora, but unfortunately I just didn't quite have enough to gain another position. But yeah, it was a good fight right to the end and a good battle. But yeah, I'll be happy, honestly, to see probably the end of the BMW after this season. It was a fun car to drive, but just a lot of work to get it around each and every track.
Indeed. And it's, I mean, the differences between GT4 and GT3, I mean, talk to me, the BMW, how it stacks up in this field as opposed to the GT3 field in relation to the different manufacturers that you're up against, mate.
Look, the BMW GT3, I think, does right. The only thing it's got is a little bit of mid-corner to exit push, but you can sort of work your way around it, and I managed to get around it by the end of the season setup-wise. But this car, I just have not been able to get the car to turn all season, and I've got the back end as loose as I can get it to try and get the rotation. But yeah, it's beyond my knowledge or skill to get the car pointing better, but that's probably the biggest downfall. Maybe a little more downforce in the front might help, but yeah, it is what it is. I tried to do the best, but yeah, unfortunately it was just a struggle. And I did have some fun races, but yeah, it's not one of my favourite GT4s. It's I still think I feel more comfortable overall in the Merc. So we'll see what next season brings. I might go back to that, but yeah, at the moment I'll probably say goodbye to the BMW for now.
All right, interesting. While you're here, Woodsy, get a comment from all of you actually, because obviously Trent and Chris have been here all season. Merritt's done a couple. You've been here most of the campaign as well. What do you like about GT4 being in a prime time slot? What do we like about the variance in race formats and the circuits? And what would you like to see change for next season? And I guess the other question is regarding wet weather, but I'll get to that after we tackle the first couple. Starting with you, Woodsy.
Well, I think they're good cars to race. You can get really good close racing. They're not super fast, so you can really throw them around and have some good door-to-door without making too many big mistakes. So overall, I think it's just a fun series. I think it's good to watch because this is probably the closest we'll get to a real car on the road that I race anyway. That's there. So it's in that regard, it's people can look at it and see what they can sort of potentially do with their own cars. But yeah, prime time, always for it. I think it's good. I don't mind longer races. I don't think these cars would work well with any sprints or anything. I think the series is pretty good, actually, the way it's set up. I think it just gives a good mix between battle and length and strategy, and yeah, it just leads to some real good battles. So yeah, I'd say more of it.
While you're here, Woodson, before we hear from John Merritt and also Chris Whittaker and Trent Lavis, Josh Suno's joined us. Daniel Friasar's here as well. Are we allowed to let the cat out of the bag with regards to the good news regarding GT4 next season?
Not confirmed. Hang off till tomorrow, I reckon, Zach.
Copy that. All right, no worries, but there might be some good news on the horizon for GT4 for next season, so stick around for that. However, to you, John Merritt, to you, Trent Lavis, and then to you, CW, your thoughts on the formats here, and more specifically to you, Chris and Trent, your thoughts on what circuits you like and what circuits you loathed and what you'd like to see change campaign on campaign. Starting with you, John.
Yeah, the racing I got in, I thoroughly enjoyed. You know, the sprint format, and obviously for a finale tonight, a 60 or a 90 minute, I'm happy with that. Tend to agree with the guys earlier. It's like a more powerful version of an 86 being a production car. So they're good to race. You've got enough variables with adjustability and brake bias and things like that. So, and I think by and large the BOP was on point that the club came up with and the committee came up with. So, you know, certainly some cars are stronger at different tracks, but if I look back through the few races I did, you know, the Merc was certainly good, but there was tracks that it was probably on edge, very much on edge in terms of the setup to get the maximum out of it. So, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. All credit to the committee and the organisers.
Trent, to you, your thoughts. I mean, obviously as the champion, you're probably happy either way here, but what circuits did you like? What circuits would you like to see come onto the calendar at the expense of what circuits were on the calendar? And have we got the right mix of race formats?
Yeah, I think the mix is bang on with the super sprints, and the Enduros all mixed up there. But in terms of tracks, my favourite this season was probably no doubt would be Mugello. I really enjoyed the flow of that place. That being said, next season I'm looking forward to having a crack at Algarve and Pisano as well. Those are going to be some really fun tracks to have a crack at. Those MotoGP European style tracks in any car. Yeah, it should be great fun. So probably be back in the Aston next season too. I'm sick of this crappy Mercedes, so look out.
Yep. CW, I'm going to start the next round of questions with you, but your thoughts on what I've just asked Trent and John?
Pretty well ditto. The formats have been, they've been bang on. The combination between the sprints with the reverse grids and the standard 40-minute race, and then into the finale as the enduro here. The only thing I think we maybe push the first enduro back a couple of rounds so everyone can learn to drive them first. We had some a couple of laps beyond safety car at Bathurst in round one, which I think can probably be contributed to. Oh mate, we had like a 45 car field or something stupid. It was impressive, but
safety car will get a good run this weekend too. But that's another story. Keep going.
Exactly, that's it. But maybe some more street circuits. No apparent reason I'd be asking for that, but no. And then the same as what Treno was saying. A bit more with these new Euro tracks. I don't know a lot of them, to be honest. I know of them, but it's always nice learning a new track and just something a bit different. A little bit of moisture thrown in there will be interesting in these things, whether they turn worse than what they already do. I'm not sure if that's possible on occasions, but it'll be interesting just throw that added element of surprise, I guess, 3/4 way through an enduro of having a bit of a downpour or a drying line to contend with. So it's good that we've got options to play with now that iRacing's finally pulled their finger out and made it all happen, and they've done a bloody bang up job at it as well, not bad. But for the most part, mate, just I guess don't fix what's not broke.
Right, very nicely done. To you were talking about learning the car. So this has been a little bit of a new challenge for you, hasn't it? Stepping out of GT3s and TCRs into GT4s. Different kettle of fish, but a change is as good as a holiday. Now that you have learnt the craft and you've got second in the championship, what have you made of the transitional phase, learning the car, and applying your trade at something different to cars that you've known very well over the course of time?
It's sort of been, back yesteryear of GT3. It's obviously been a long time since we've run around in the GT3 cars, but in terms of setup, there hasn't been much sort of, apart from this week, this has been the biggest swing that we've had to do at anything, but to try extract some sort of pace. But it's sort of just been a couple of clicks here, a couple of clicks there, and it's been pretty well on the money, but it's just very, very different car to drive. I don't know if that's just the Merc or what the story is. We just sort of jumped in the Merc and went, let's have a crack at this thing, see how it goes. It felt all right. Good on the curbs. Looked at the rounds that were ahead, and okay, well, good on curbs will probably help with what we've got with this series. But I know we'll have a bit of a lap in some of the other cars and see if we can extract a bit more pace out of those, because we all know if Treno jumps into his beloved Aston, we're going to have to do something to keep up with him.
I don't even know if I worded the question well or not, actually, to be fair, because I was distracted by Greg King's comment coming through. Greg's left the building. He's seen himself out, but thanks to him for stepping in and having a chat with us throughout the course of the evening, and we'll hopefully catch up with you again either tomorrow night or next season. Sticking with you, though, CW. So, driving style, is that something that you've had to kind of adjust to or not?
Yeah, very easy cars to overdrive. I can see the correlation between the 86 and these guys that the boys were talking about earlier, but the 86, you tend to be able to hustle it a lot more than what I find you can do, at least in the Merc anyway. I find the Merc, you start to hustle it too much and you just chew tyres up and lap time ticks away. So it's one of those ones where it's, if you can't pull a lap time out of it, you find yourself just pulling braking markers back 10 metres and going half a second faster all of a sudden. So, but yeah, cool cars, very, very different. But it'll be interesting to see what next season holds. We sort of weren't actually going to end up in these. It's only that they're on a Wednesday night, but it's sort of working a bit better for us than Thursday nights, that we didn't jump back in the Porsches again. We'll see where it lands for next season, if it's still on a Wednesday night, if it's still even on. I'd like to think it would be. We've had a good turnout all season, and judging by your premature announcement or half-assed announcement a moment ago, I'd say by the sound of things that it is coming back. So thanks for giving that one away for a sec. But
you're welcome.
I mean, I obviously had the privilege of driving a real GT4 car now, and I don't know that it's quite as similar as what you'd expect there. It's probably a bit more GT3-ish with regards to iRacing, or GT1 is sort of how to me, the Ginetta felt, but it's still just a big learning curve when you jump into any new car, really.
Interesting. Apologies to Paul Wood. Was coming back to ask him one more question, but he's seen himself out. We'll catch up with you tomorrow night. Josh Duno's still here, Trent Lavis, John Merritt, Chris Whitaker. Adam Lavis is here as well, and I'll get him to let us know when the GT4 points are all done and ready to rock and roll. In the meantime, Trent Lavis, start with you and work our way up. The Tempest wet weather system, you do have elements of it here in GT4. Wet weather is not one of them as yet. Would you like to see it implemented in GT4 sooner rather than later?
Yeah, definitely. I think that'd be a really good package to have a run on the wet. In terms of the way the car drives and things like that. Chris keeps complaining about the thing doesn't turn. Well, it definitely won't turn in the wet, so it should make it interesting, and obviously patience will be key when it does come out. So fingers crossed it's sooner rather than later.
Chris, to you, I mean, we've seen enough wet weather racing in the real world. We've seen enough wet weather to do us a year here in Queensland this week. But where do you sit with it? And I guess I haven't had a chance to talk to you about the Tempest system at large yet. Spoke to Trent about it last night. How much time have you spent learning some of the cars that are available to go racing in the rain on the platform at this point?
Honestly, mate, I've driven the 86 2 or 3 times in the wet. Bloody good fun. Just to, I guess, top off Trent's comment there regarding wet weather and these things, and if it's not turning now, I guess it's going to turn worse. There's always Trent's door to help me around the corner, a la Charlotte Roval yet again. But so I'll be able to make the corners. That'll be fine. We just need Trent on the outside of me. It'll be fine. But no, I honestly haven't had much to do with it. I did I think on the day or day after the wet weather was released, I put a room up with 86s around Long Beach, and we had about, I think, 35, 40 randoms jump in there, of which quite a few of the real world 86 boys jumped in. So that was pretty cool. We jumped in, had a bit of dice with those guys. That was bloody good fun. I'm looking forward to getting out there and having a bit of a play in some GSRC wet events.
And John Merritt, after Monday night, you would have been happy to arrive here and know it was going to be fine and dry.
Bring it on dry. Yeah, but choosing a full dry setup clearly doesn't work for anyone listening. So, no, I look forward to a bit of precipitation in whatever we run, and hopefully some intermittent weather through the race and drying conditions. I think will lend itself to some battles.
Indeed. We're very excited about the wet weather being rolled out, transitioned across all the different servers, all the different cars, and all the different championships and series, except maybe, I'm not sure how to work on the ovals. We'll have to wait. If you can't go oval racing in the real world, maybe you can't do it in the sim world either. I'm happy to be proven wrong though. Let's explore what's to come as well. Because Trent, you've got this is not your first GT4 championship, mate. This is a format of racing that you're well suited to. You like. What's the difference between this and the other championships as far as you're concerned? What is it about this formula and you that clicks so well?
I guess. Well, in terms of the way you drive the car, is very similar to what I'm used to. Oh yeah, I got a few wides there.
A little bit.
But the way you set up these cars actually behaves more like how you'd set up a car in the real world. So I've got experience doing that, which makes it a bit easier. In terms of the GT3 cars, for example, you can sort of take the piss of the physics engine a little bit in some regards. So because I don't get to spend much time in it, I can sort of start off with the base and fiddly-dee and twiddly here. And massive thanks to Chris too for Whittaker Packaging for the sponsorship of the setup tonight. It's fantastic.
All right, indeed. Josh Juno's here, Adam Lavis as well. Hey, Adam, you had an all right run, a fairly heated battle towards the end there. No, can't talk to Adam at the moment. He's just muted himself. Oh, no, there he is.
Yeah, no, I was quite surprised. I got that decent lap in Quali, got in the top of the top 10, then had to lose a spots waiting for Mikey to sort himself out after he got that neck code spin. And yeah, it was a battle to try and get back to the front. Got a bit lucky at the first stop, just caught a group of cars that I could see a distance were fighting pretty hard. Just as I caught them, we all pitted, and I somehow managed to jump them all, so I got clear track for the second stint. So that was very good, very much relieved. And then probably I had a chance to get back to my starting spot at 7th, but Proctor did get me there, and then Richard was really hustling me. I lost a little bit of ground to Proctor, and then was reeling back in at the end, but ran out of laps. So 8th it was.
All right, very nicely done. Now, John Merritt, to you, we have to analyse the Toyota, and we also need to talk about tomorrow night as well. How familiar are you with the 86? How many championship rounds have you had the chance to run in? Is it a bit like this, a bit hit and miss? Because it would appear as though it's very similar in terms of your success rate to what we're about to talk about tomorrow night, and that is Formula V.
Yeah, I'll probably just this season at least, Zach, run when I can, and probably even prior seasons, because it starts out a little bit early. Sometimes I just can't make it. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. I think I had a bit of a crack in the first season. The club ran the car, but the setup was maybe it was fuel load or something was just a little bit off, and just jumped back in this season and a couple of rounds and. No, mate, they are fantastic fun, very much like just a slow, easy to drop, probably similar to a V, so it suits my style nicely.
Indeed. How are you feeling about the Vs around the island tomorrow night? Always such a watch, Rick.
Be a good draft for us. So yes. 4 or 5 wide, you better get the voice box ready. And
it's ready, don't worry.
I think, yeah, no, it should be a good night, good finale.
I think it should be indeed. And are you sticking around to have a run in the Porsches here? And how does tonight serve you for just familiarisation rather than, anything else because completely different car. But how does that suit you for the Porsches tomorrow night? How does that set you up? Do you take a little bit of confidence out of tonight and fly it tomorrow night?
Yeah, the track. I enjoy the track, so yeah, most likely have a crack in the Porsches if I can tomorrow, and generally enjoyed it over the years when they run here. So we'll see if we can get a set together and have a crack.
All right, very nicely done. Anyone else hanging around tomorrow night to have a run on the Porsches? I know Adam is. What are you doing tomorrow night, Trent?
I think I've booked in date night for tomorrow night, so we've just got to cash in a few brownie points. I think is the plan for tomorrow.
Okay. To be fair, you can't book Friday because everywhere's shut on Friday, being Good Friday. So
Macca's will be open, mate.
Well, that's true.
Treat it something nice.
Fillet of fish
and your RSLs.
Yeah, that's right. A few pubs
can't go wrong with the result.
Open, but most places are shut on Friday, and then throughout the course of the weekend, most of the shopping centres around here shut at 6 p.m. because 2024 or 1912. CW, you mentioned the venture into the GT4 phenomenon in the real world. Where's that at the moment, please?
It's a bit of a holding pattern at the moment. Waiting on the SRO to sort their stuff out still.
The old FH1T, yeah.
That's it, exactly right. The 5417, I think that's how it goes, something like that. Yeah, so at the moment we're just basically in a holding pattern, waiting until, or was it August for Queensland Raceway, where hopefully they'll have a change of heart and we can jump in for that, and if not, then we'll jump in for wherever this mystery round will be in September.
Okay, very nicely done. Mystery round. Okay.
Well, they've got a date, but I don't know how you apply a date without a location, mate. So.
Well, that's very.
I refer to my original comment.
Is that the Father's Day weekend?
Oh, can't remember the exact date, to be perfectly honest, mate. But yeah, there's rumours of it possibly being Hidden Valley, but government crap going on with that or something or other. So, being that we missed the first round at Sandown, I reckon that that's going to be the backup plan. So, I'd be happy with either option. Let's be honest.
The ARG needs a fair bit of help at the moment because, let's be honest, what happened in Sims Plains and TCR was just ridiculous. People have been bagging the absolute hell out of it for yonks, and little setbacks like this when it's on their bill, and also obviously the cock around with the World Tour not coming to a town for TCR, swapping dates around Sydney. There's a few categories that, because they were shed for the race on the second of the Sydney dates, and that's disappeared. They've been left high and dry. It is a mess, and it's not a good look for Australian motorsport at the moment either. Originally the thought was, we had 7 Speed Series rounds and we had 3 Trophy Series rounds, so we'll have 10 Speed Series rounds, and we'll have the 6-hour standalone. And what are we going to get? I really don't know. I think we're going to end up with less rather than more. Don't get me started on everything else that's going on there at the moment in Australian motorsport circus, because I'm far from a happy chappy. Final thoughts from all you gentlemen. What do we do now, Trent? Anything in the real world to keep you busy over the next couple of weeks before we reconvene?
Just doing a test day. Just recently announced the collab with Nick at Duke Racing in his 86 production car.
Yeah.
He's invited me to jump in and have a run at the Enduro rounds with the QPC legends. So that should be good fun later in the year. Something to look forward to. Besides that, the S15 is just sitting in the shed under a rag at the moment. It's been sort of left behind. So we should start it up this weekend and make sure it still runs. I
mentioned it during the call of the 86s earlier. It's been one of the great phenomenons, hasn't it, in recent times? In the real world, it's a handy little road car, but there's standalone one-make series for it, scholarship and outright. And then, of course, it's a very handy little production car in Queensland production cars, New South Wales production cars, Australian production cars, and even this weekend as well. There's something to like about that car. It goes well for the most part, and it's in a class format where you can win a championship from a different class perspective. It has been a known performer over the years.
That's right, and me personally, I've had as you well know,
You've had
pretty
great
good success.
Yeah.
With multiple outright wins in those Enduro, the old 300s that used to happen.
Yeah.
3 of them actually. Before we got canned, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, across the line first, but we got probably that one, so we won't talk about that too much detail. But
that's the third one you're talking about, probably.
Yeah. I'll still class that one as a win.
Yeah, well.
But they're a great car to drive, great car to set up, super reliable. Like I remember that Eve Late 16 we drove. It was a Wrecker motor with an oil cooler, and we just sent it all day, and it never missed a beat. Never blew up gearboxes and all that sort of stuff that some of the guys seem to do with their flat foot shifting and things. Just drive them like a normal car, and they last forever. They're fantastic.
Indeed. I think we've covered off all the boxes we need to tick off tonight with regards to the championship. I'm looking forward to seeing what you two bring to the table next season, especially now that CW's up to speed with the cars and his heating straps and he's got going, and even he's going to chip away at that and try and find a little bit more. So all the ingredients are there for next season in GT4 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We're excited about that. Calendar and details and whether it'll be broadcast or not, everything like that will come to light in the next couple of weeks. Right. Anyone got anything else to add before I wrap this baby up and get out of here?
I'm just going to chime in just very quickly and just notice a big influx in the, particularly the season, of some new members coming through, which is just bloody awesome. So, not sure if the boys and girls in the committee are doing something different to attract all these new peeps in here, but bloody good to see the club building and some of the existing guys coming back to have a play again. So. I guess from ourselves, welcome and welcome back. But it's just been a really good to see the numbers just cruise along and not dropping off like it sort of was starting to look a little bit sad at one stage there. But it looks to have boosted back up, which is fantastic.
And the Interlargos circuit, as we know, throws up great racing. It did that tonight, right throughout the field. A couple of unlucky stories. Starting with the very start, some cars not even lucky enough to make it through turns 1, 2 and 3 before meeting trouble. So, but in the end, the top 3 here ended up just walking away with it in the end. Just recapping for those of you tuning in and joining us for the first time, of course, it was Trent Laverston, John Merritt, Chris Whittaker, Brendan Whittaker and Gary Cousins the top 5. And looking forward to seeing what comes of the new season. I don't think there's probably one last question I haven't thrown at you guys, because we ask it in GT3 all the time. Happy with the Merc, Trent, or looking at changing? CW, are you going to have a play around and have a look at some of the other cars? What about you, John? Happy with the Aston or willing to play elsewhere? What's the McLaren like in GT4? I know you're a big fan of it in GT3. We'll start with you, John.
Yeah, I've driven the McLaren Enterprise season, Zach. It was pretty good. So, look, I think the Merc seems on point speed-wise. I'm not sure how it keeps its tyres, so I probably have to do some laps. I really haven't driven it, and mate, the Aston's pretty consistent. So, and I think I ran the Beamer at Bathurst, which was fantastic there, but. I'm not sure, mate. I just changed it up knowing I couldn't make all the rounds, to be honest. So, if I get a chance, might have a run in a few and make a pick.
All right. CW quickly, and then Trent, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, mate. I'll just jump in and go for a couple of laps in each of them and see which one clicks the best. And if we end up in the Merc again, we're in the Merc again. And if we're in something else, we're in something else.
Trent, more synonymous with success in the Aston, but now finding success in the Merc. What do you go for next turn?
Aston, mate. I think the Merc, after last season, the Merc jumped in the Merc to sort of make a bit of a statement, I suppose, saying it's not just the car, which seemed to be the flavour of last season. But,
and that brings me to another good point that you've just made. Go on.
So, probably my own brakes a little bit there, but the car was okay. It's just... it just doesn't do exactly how I like to drive a car with on a bit of a slide and that. That's what the Aston lets you get away with a little bit. With this car, it starts to slide and then it just absolutely lets go and throws you to the fence. So you got to sort of underdrive it, as Chris mentioned, a fair bit, which means that, looking after the tyres. I kind of worked it out halfway through the season where you sort of you drive it like a like a turbo car, I suppose. You don't jam the throttle on out of the corners. It just set it up loose, and it seems to work okay for me. But I like the Aston better, to be honest. It'll bring back that torque.
All right, folks, there they are. Trent Lavis, Chris Whitaker, and John Merritt. Stick around, folks. I'll keep you guys entertained post-race if you've got 5 minutes, a couple of stories itself. In the meantime, just recapping the championship standings now that Adam Lavis has managed to update them. 527 for Trent Lavis, wins it by 50 points over Chris Whitaker, 477, 397 for Jeff Adams, who held off Adam Lavis, 334, and John Merritt, 315, up 2 spots tonight, John. Displacing Brendan Whitaker, 311, Paul Wood, 294, 266 for Richard King, David Christensen, 264, and Dale Sharp, 257 points. Daniel Correa, final comment from you, your highlight of the night, and what are you most looking forward to about tomorrow night, because we've got 6 races in the program.
Look, nothing really from my end. I think the highlight of the night was all of it. I actually really enjoyed both the 86s and the GT4s. I thought it was some really good racing. Again, it was a little bit unfortunate that we didn't see more of a close battle here in the GT4s from the top 4. But boy, did we get some close ones at the back end. Yeah, there were some really good battles having it with the back end of the grid. So for tomorrow. Well, you've got to say it's the V's at the island, right?
Yeah.
I like the Porsches as much as anyone, but it's the island.
Exactly.
And every time we go to the island, it doesn't matter what we take there, it always seems to produce stellar racing. So that's going to be my pick.
And the fact that Denty's already got title number 9
right,
secured.
Yeah, right.
You know, I mean, but what I am looking forward to there is seeing him be kept honest, potentially by a couple of those blokes in the way he was last week. I'm looking at Hayne, I'm looking at Knight and a few others, and the invert race will be good too. Message from Sam Chapman, he said it was definitely my internet tonight, mate. Had to drop out of the following race because the ping was like 5 seconds. Cross the NBN off your bingo card for the night, because as we all know, the NBN is probably shit. Let's have a look at... Actually, no, before we have a look at what's coming your way, let's thank the sponsors, because without them we couldn't do what we do here on the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Loadsy Racing, of course. Big thanks to Trent and the crew there. M-Wave Australia. Of course, we've got our good friends at Player One Sim Gear. Also, Flash Graphics. Also, of course, Sprayton Cider. Sprayton Cider Thursday night, Motorsport tomorrow night. To bring the curtain down on the big week and the term that was, and of course our friends at Waste Options as well. Trent Lavis, just quickly as a sponsor there, I should say thank you again to you. We didn't get the chance to do this last night. For your ongoing support of the up-and-comers, and we've got to give you a pat on the back as well for being as immersely involved and hands-on as you are in, and Chris highlighted it a moment ago, the ongoing development of that next crop of talent that's coming through in this club. Members are arriving all the time, and it's great to see guys like you that have essentially been here since the start, giving back and giving them a platform to race on.
Yeah, mate, I think that up-and-comer series, or social series as it used to be called as well, is definitely what we call it a cornerstone, I suppose, of the club. Gives people that are obviously either new to sim racing or looking to develop their skills further, somewhere to race where they don't feel intimidated, I suppose, by the so-called aliens, and always happy to jump in there too and give any tips and things like that as well. So super social series, and once again next year or next season I'll be looking forward to put my money where my mouth is again and keep Waverley Racing on the platform, and also extend any invite to any of the new club members that are tuning in to reach out if they want any training and things like that for the series on a Tuesday night. If I'm free, or any of the other members are always willing to jump in and give some driving tips as well in the sim world. So just reach out, no harm in asking the question.
No, not at all. All right, we're done here, gentlemen. Let's have a look ahead on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. One night remains. That is it as far as our broadcast commitment of Grand Final Week is concerned. And that's what's coming up for everybody else beyond Easter, although disregard everything beyond the top line there, ladies and gentlemen, because that's all
even the top line hasn't been updated. It'll be, so Thursday obviously is correct. But
Thursday correct, but everything else is...
Friday, it'll be the Super Formulas at Suzuka.
Yep.
for their 3 standard ones, and then the mountain men will be the Super Formula Light, and I've been advised by Joe that we should all bring our Wellingtons.
Excellent. I like it. So just recapping for you, ladies and gentlemen, grand final night number 4 tomorrow night, champions 6 and 7 to be crowned. Formula B, first up for Sprayton Soda from the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. We get underway 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Make a note of that. Still just after lunch sometime over there in WA. And of course, race 1 will be 10 minutes. Race 2, 15 with the reverse invert top 10. And then race 3, 15 minutes, followed by the Sprayton Soda Porsche Cup finale from the Interlargos circuit in Brazil. Back here, right here, where we've been for the last hour and a bit tonight. There will be a 10-lap race, a 14-lap race, a 23-lap race. That equates to, I think it's 15, 25 and 35 minutes there, or 15, 20 and 35, apologies. So 15, 20 and 35-minute races. Tomorrow night, reverse top 10 for that second race as well. Always throws the cat amongst the pigeons. And we got both the elite split and the open split. We're pretty sure we know who's won the elite split. The open split will be decided tomorrow night. And then, of course, Friday night, as Daniel said, wins and splits from Suzuka. Saturday night, Mountain Men. That's a 300-kilometre affair. So it's not the usual 32 laps, 50 laps tomorrow on Saturday night. And that gets underway 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Then we, of course, turn our attention to Sunday night. Not sure what's going on there. Pete Nathan's MIA at the moment, but someone will be looking after that and to ensure that the Oval Racing Supercar Series can go ahead Easter Sunday. The Tuesday night, John Merritt, how are the nerves? Tuesday night next week, week 1 of the break, is actually round 10 for you blokes in GT1 because we bumped you a week due to the up-and-comers last night. The GT1's for 95 minutes, no less. How are we feeling about that, please?
Mate, I think I've missed too many rounds, but I'm looking forward to having a run. I think we're going to Bathurst, if I'm not wrong. So
that's what it says on the schedule, yeah.
Yeah, so anytime 95 minutes at Bathurst, come all and sundry. It should be a good night.
The schedule on the screen here says Watkins Glen Boot, but the schedule online
it'll be Mount Panorama.
Mount Panorama Bathurst. As long as we're sure on that, beautiful. Yep. So Bathurst for 95 minutes, go well. Enjoy that, mate. Good luck. The following Sunday, the GSRC Endurance Championship continues with 6 hours around Suzuka. Now, that's round 2 of the season. It's a 6-hour race. I believe getting underway slightly earlier, so maybe instead of midday, it'll be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make a note of that, Eastern Standard Time, because the clocks go back into progressive and civilised parts of the country that morning. Sunday, April 7, it leads into the Japanese Formula 1 Grand Prix big day at Suzuka, both virtual and real, and round 2 of the GSRC Endurance Championship. Then fast forward yet another week and find yourselves on Monday, April 15, the start of Term 2 for 2024. Magnificent. CW's seen himself out, so he'll miss the entertainment that's to follow. When we launch into our post-race show here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, hope you enjoyed it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Well done to Trent Lavis, the GT4 champion. Well done to Stuart Ellis, the Toyota 86 champion. Thanks to you at home for hanging in there with us for the last, just over 3.5 hours now. We're looking forward to tomorrow night and doing the same again with the Porsches and Formula V, a 6-race program ahead of us to crown champions and bring Term 1, as far as broadcast is concerned, to a close. My thanks to Daniel Correa-Sar for his efforts tonight. Thanks to you at home. I hope you're enjoying Grand Final Week as much as we're enjoying bringing it to you. 3 down, 1 to go. We'll take the checkered flag tomorrow night and bid you a happy Easter then. But for now, we're going to go and get some sleep and recharge the batteries ahead of what's going to be an epic night of racing tomorrow night. Come back and join us then for night 4 of week 10. Grand Final week number 1 for the season on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Season 16 for the club and first of 4 for the year. Until then, on behalf of all the crew, I'm Zach Caden wishing you a very good night.